Hello and welcome back to Go Again Gaming. My name is Az, and today I'm joined by a plethora of folks from across the pond today. So I'm joined by, we'll just throw it out there and just do it around the table. So for me, to my right is BrewTapCast. Is that right?
Hello. It is. I have no idea. You're right. I'm Russ from BrewTapCast, also known as Tap. So we run a beer flavored Flesh and Blood channel. Was Magic gone Flesh and Blood because it just seems to be a lot more exciting these days. Yeah, we're on YouTube and Twitter. That's the thing. Yeah, and we have a Discord.
Sweet. Yeah, well, everyone's links will be in the description box below, so make sure wherever you're watching this out there in the big wide world, whether it's now or in the future, go and spam and smash these gentlemen's bells, please. So yeah. Next on the lineup here is Mr. Flake over there on the far right.
Yes, and I brought my flag with me because I believe you said across the pond, but I'm across the pond and like a short drive in 9 Iron North. So, well, it's nice to be on here. I've spoken to some of you, not all of you. So this is very exciting for me because I get to meet some of you. I've followed along with a lot of the content and the tweets and videos and such. But in terms of discussions, this is a first. I've spoken to Tommy, but when it comes to everyone else, this is awesome for me and a privilege. So I appreciate you having me on.
That's right, mate. Yeah, thanks for your time today, and it's good to have like a nice wide mixture of different viewpoints of the game as well. So yeah, I think that's a nice little ensemble we've got today. But we got Mr. Fresh next, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm next. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Tommy. I have the Fresh and Buds podcast. I've had 3 of you guys here on the podcast. Love to get you guys on there as well from the other podcasts. And yeah, love to be on the channel. It's not my first time on your channel, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, you actually played on my first gameplay video, so thanks for launching that for me, mate. That was nice.
Oh, yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. Battle for the Demonastery. And next we have both members. This worked out quite nicely actually because you've got both members of the combat chain next to each other in the bottom left corner. So who's going to take the reins on that one?
Hey, I'm Adam, and also known as Fom Toolery, and then we've got Pat with me. Yeah, we super delighted to be here. Pat, do you have any words?
Yeah,
words. He's definitely got words, hasn't he?
I do. My name's Pat Shaw. I go by Pat Smash Good on Twitter and Discord. I've been I say an enthusiastic member of the community for some time. Az and I actually go way back.
We do, yeah.
In the Discord days. I've got my Herald promos you sent me from way back when next to me.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Prison. I was just like, do you want these? Because I'm never going to use them.
Yeah, right?
I'll send them to America. There we go. See ya.
I got a full play set.
Yeah,
it was great. Mate. And I still appreciate that. And
no problem, my friend. No worries.
Like I said, we've gone way back. Adam was running the Combat Chain podcast for some time now, and I've been looking to get into content creation and engaging into the community. And the opportunity arose to hop on to be the new co-host with him. And we're 2.5 episodes in together, and I think we're making some strides. And I'm just happy to talk Flesh and Blood with everybody. So thanks for having me.
I just want to wonder. I mean, I did not get the notice regarding the facial hair requirement for this podcast. Unfortunately, it is. I would have needed. You would have had to have contacted me in September to like actually grow something. Yeah. For the record, this is like, see this. You have to kind of like look up at it at the light, but there is some stubble here. This is approximately 3 to 4 days worth of growth. It is out of control. Yeah. If I scratch it too hard, like a parrot will fly out of it. But this is all I can muster, unfortunately. I try.
Got the Clark Kent there, and we got all the ruffians in this. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go around again, basically. Well, I haven't even introduced myself. I did that at the start. So I'm Az from Go Again Gaming. This is the channel, and yeah, I focus on the mainly sort of janky stuff. speculation videos, discussion videos, bit of live streams. I also host a bit of tournaments every now and again. But yeah, mainly just building the community and and meeting the wonderful people behind it is the aim of what I like to do. Like you're the reason why I do this, really. Just the members of the community just coming together and having some fun, having some beers and some coffees for the people that are having coffees as well. But yeah, we're basically just going to go around again and just maybe give us a little bit of background that's not flesh and blood related, so a hobby or an interest that's not flesh and blood related. And I'll start with myself. I am a massive fan of tennis, and I think there's a lot of amazing USA or that side of the world players that are actually coming through at the moment. So I really, really love tennis and sport. I like metal music, metalcore music. Used to be in a band. Used to do a lot of screaming into the microphone.
I heard you sing on you put it on Twitter.
I did,
just recently.
Yeah.
You have the voice of an angel, sir.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. I don't actually say I can sing. I do the metalcore thing, but I do keep that in reserve. It's like a party trick. No one ever expects it. The guy with the long hair and Justin Timberlake comes out. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's do that then, shall we? I always sing with an American or Canadian or whatever it is accent as well. I don't know why I do that.
The Spice Girls did it best. That was their little party trick. I didn't know they were British until I heard an interview after. I'm like, what the hell?
What's going on here? Yeah.
What is up with that? Same with Robbie Williams and all of those guys. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good stuff in the UK. So yeah, that's me. So BrewTapCast, what's your story there behind Flesh and Blood? Well, apart from that.
Yeah, so I'm in the beer industry. So I've been in the beer industry for a while. That's kind of where I was in grad school for evolutionary biology, and that kind of really wasn't wanted to be. I really like bugs. That's like bugs are cool.
Right.
Bugs
Insects.
Insects, yes.
Ah,
insects.
okay.
Yeah, that was what I worked on. I worked on systematics of insects and their symbionts. So it was really weird stuff. And then I went to beer. It was homebrewing for a long time there. Then got into the actual beer industry. And so that's kind of like things I like. And I like hiking and dogs. Dogs are great too.
Yeah. Sounds good. Is there a lot of good places to hike where you're from then?
Yeah, New England has some nice places. I mean, Connecticut's not the most exciting of those places. Like, we don't have mountains. We have like small hills that like you can see over, and it's not really that exciting. But it gets the job done.
Yeah, whenever I see pictures of like USA and Canada, it's probably stereotypical, but it's just like mountain ranges and forests and all this sort of thing where you can take your dog. No? Oh,
no,
okay.
It's not much of mass either.
There are worse stereotypes, so we'll take that one.
Right. Yeah. We'll take the majesty, sure.
Majesty or cup of tea or anything like that. Yeah. I can take it. It's fine. You just throw whatever you want at me. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Mr. Flake?
Oh, boy.
You got lots going on, haven't you? I can see your Star Wars hat on, Han Solo.
Absolutely. I mean, so let's just be real here. What are my greatest habits besides disappointing my parents? It would probably be more so along the lines. I was for a while like into. Well, I still am. I mean, Star Wars, Marvel, that kind of stuff. I have a massive Spider-Man comic book collection, like dating all the way back to like the '60s, like all the way through. That is like my little retirement nest egg. Should everything kind of go up in smoke, that's kind of the currency I will be using when the world goes to hell. Can I swear on this podcast? I'm really curious.
You like, say what the fuck you want, mate.
Perfect.
There it is.
That green light is. I am gonna just nest in that.
Let's go.
Usually that's like the big no-no. Whenever I record my stuff, it's like my producer guy is like who does all the technical shit is there you go shit. He's just like,
it feels good, doesn't it? It feels good.
It does. It's just liberating. He's like, stop swearing. You do it too much. Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Yeah.
But besides that, honestly, I am a encyclopedia of like Star Wars and 90s pop culture nonsense. It's what does it translate to? Not a whole lot ultimately, but I do a lot of I used to, not as much now, but writing. That was my goal once upon a time, was to do comic book writing and fiction writing. So
nice.
I have a whole lot of that kind of stuff that just kind of lives in a drawer, and it's an outlet when I get a chance to. Yeah. And it's very embarrassing to pick up sometimes and read what you wrote like 10 years ago and be like, what the hell is wrong with you, you emo child? But
I love it.
Yeah. That would be me.
Before we move on, I have a question. So, who shot first?
It's Han Solo without, and I have actual
sure.
cultural
Making sure.
proof about this. Han Solo, at the time of Greedo meeting him at the Mos Eisley Cantina, is a pirate, a smuggler, a killer, a thief. He is not a good person. This is what I try to convey to people. There is no way in any hell that he would ever not shoot first, because he doesn't give it. Because he has not just shot first there; he has killed so many other people who have tried to bring him in. That's within his character. So the whole philosophy of who shot first, if you just knew the character and the canon and such, that's who he is. He shoots first and says sorry about the mess.
Yeah.
By that argument, though, Greedo, you could say the same thing about Greedo. He's a bounty hunter and a killer, and
he is.
He
But
could have shot first.
But Greedo wanted the money. He was the one who was trying to extort Han Solo for more money than what his bounty was worth, and said, "So if you pay me the money, I'll forget I saw you." So Han Solo's like, "Better idea," and then just kablamo. So
this is what happens when you ask Flake about Star Wars. Then it seems.
I know. I have to physically stop myself because there's probably like a time cap on this little get together. So
I think the first interaction I had with you actually was I think I commented on one of your posts about this new Spider-Man film, and I was like, I don't think. What has everyone seen it, or does everyone care about it here?
I have seen it.
I don't watch films, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers
No
are allowed then.
talkies for you. No.
So spoilers are allowed then. So yeah, the first interaction I had with you, just going back there, was I said to you, I don't think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to appear in this, and you was like, well, it's going to be a massive misdirection if that was the case. I stand corrected from that as well. So just wanted to throw
well worth it though.
Bit of history. Cool, Mr. Buds.
I come from the greatest state in the union, New Jersey, where the first Pro Tour of Flesh and Blood will be located.
Nice.
Because you're there, that's why they're doing it.
It only furthers the proof of the greatest state in the union. I too am in the beer industry like Russ. I just sell it though. I don't do anything fancy, and I drink a lot of it. But outside of that, big sports fan, love football.
Nice.
Actually, really into cricket. We're starting to get some stadiums in the States for a Major League Cricket League, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm into.
Nice.
I won't go into any of my Star Wars theories and opinions because I value Flake's friendship, and I just don't want to.
You're also scheduled for my podcast, so we have like 90 minutes to fill for that. So.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's my deal. So.
Awesome. Cool.
Let's see. I suppose. Yeah. Let's see. So from Massachusetts, I am. This is my fun stuff. Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids, wife, family, and
Cool.
they keep me pretty busy there. I do like to. I'm a big comic book reader. I like all things nerdy. I was a big magic honk for a long time. I follow basically any kind of Lord of the Rings, D&D, big Critical Role guy. Love watching the new Legend of Vox Machina and exposing people into just nerddom, and I like engaging into in the communities here. I like talking to people, like meeting new people, and
that's the fun part, isn't it? Just meeting folks and doing stuff. That's the fun part.
Not to blow everybody out of the water with what I do on my free time, but this is it. So
this is it.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's like an Olympic athlete out there who's like, I've been wasting my life.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
That is an unsung hobby of mine, is sitting on the couch watching the Olympics and talking shit about these athletes and the 4th place garbage. Get out of here.
I can do better than that.
Yeah. The downhill slalom.
He touched the line. What a doofus.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Get me on the team instead. Yeah. Nice.
And then I guess that
Adam,
leaves me the other half of Combat Chain, the other Canadian here. Very. On the surface, there's some very stereotypical Canadian stuff. I like my hockey, like beer. Beyond that, I'm actually a paramedic by trade, first responder. But then I never saw myself being a paramedic growing up. It's just something I fell into. Growing up, I actually thought I wanted to. I thought I was going to be a big musician. That was the dream. So actually, a lot of metal music, a lot like
Nice.
But
what sort of bands? Just chuck me a band. Will I know
okay,
it?
if we're talking metalcore, like Devil Wears Prada.
Oh yes, yeah, love it.
Actually,
Love
there's
that movie.
Love that movie. Oh,
Meryl
God.
Streep, so
Meryl
good.
Streep.
It's so good.
Oh dear. Well, they just
Oh,
ruined
geez,
that conversation. Carry on. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No. Actually, the other poster I've got up behind me, one of my favorites, Protest the Hero. They're a Canadian group that, they really good, solid musicmanship, and but
You
yeah,
play an instrument then, did you? Or
I grew up playing guitar, and then over the years, I developed a fond interest in like the recording arts and in sound engineering, and so I've kind of got an outfitted studio in my basement.
nice.
I've got just over right here next to me, like I've got this window, and then beyond it, there's like a room with like a little bit of sound treatment and like my drum sets in there, and I've got my rack next to me here with. Well, I don't have much on my rack, but I've got my sound interface and my I've got a compressor on it, and I do all the back end technical stuff for the combat chain. I'm all equipped to do all that.
Sweet.
And
Quite literally all of it. I am just an annoying voice, and he is the brains of the operation, 100%.
Nice.
Well, no, Pat, we don't need to.
You complete each other. We get it.
Yeah.
Yin and
Yeah.
yang. Love it.
So music, hockey, snowboarding, board games, all sorts of nerdy stuff.
Cool. Sounds like most of us, though. Really, have we all come from Magic? A lot of us, or not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really.
Well, you know what? Actually, Flake's gonna appreciate this. Initially, Gwent is what got me into Magic.
My man.
Okay, yeah.
My man.
But I could never get into Gwent as you guys play it now. It was just purely the Witcher Gwent. That was where my fondness started. Oh, love to see it.
Oh yeah.
To see
Love to see it. Yeah, no, OG Gwent got me into Magic originally, and then
Nice. Sorry, I just completely threw that off topic there. I was like, oh, who loves Magic? Tumbleweed. That's what happened.
Well, I mean, like I'll give credit to where it's due. Magic. It has its ups and downs. I knew how to play. I've played with like friends' collections back like when in my like teens, like many years ago. 5 years ago, I'll say. But frankly, the fact that I got really invested into it was around Dominaria, and I jumped into at that set, and it was like it was like jumping into like the perfectly temperatured water. Everything was great. It was a really good set. And after that was, the Ravnica. Before that was Ixalan. I felt like it was good. And then eventually War of the Spark just turned me off of it. I tried to jump back in, never got into it, and I just had never had another inkling of a thought about giving Standard another shake. So I have my Commander decks. I play with some of the same Magic community people that I played with earlier, and then and that was it.
Yeah, similar story to me, really. I've got loads of Commander decks, but I think that's mainly due to how I like to play. It's like multiplayer and social aspect of games, so I think that's a similar story there, really. But yeah, that was a nice little get to know everybody sort of situation, wasn't it?
I don't hate anyone yet. That's pretty good.
No, exactly. Wait until we start
still
talking about the
time.
cards. People will be like,
We
what's
got
going on?
Just getting started.
Just getting started, yeah, exactly. So the topic of today's conversation is the Everfest review. So we're just going to be going through basically all of the cards, just picking out the ones that we like or we want to talk about. We can skim through a few of them and not spend too much time on them. So for all of those that are following along at home or wherever you might be out there, we're just going to be scrolling down the page basically and looking at the cards as they appear on the Fab TCG card gallery for Everfest. You can follow along if you are following along. So should we just get straight into this and go straight into the brute section, shall we? Has everyone got it up before we carry on?
I am there.
The us or the people listening? I don't know which one you wanted to. I'm there too. We're good.
We're going to do the Explorer style. Bring up the list.
Yeah.
As long as you're there, Tap, it's fine. Because I'm not there at the moment. I'm still...
Always.
So yeah, we're looking at the brute cards first then. And the first one that comes up is the Majestic equipment for brutes. This was the thing that they were missing, wasn't it? It was the arms that they were missing, I believe.
I don't
Yeah,
know
we
if they
have
were
this
missing the arms. They had the camera scrubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not typed as a brute equipment, but
Yeah,
a brute equipment.
So this says, whenever you roll a 5 or 6 on a dice, your brute attacks gain +1 this turn. Whenever you roll a 1 on a dice, destroy Skull Crushers. So who wants to use this, do you think? Anyone?
If ever there's a downside for rolling dice, I just avoid it. That's why I don't play Rhino or any dice-related things. Yeah. I drafted it in the Farewell to Wrath event. I did Rhinar. I had a crazy brew. I got gooned. I lost that game. That's the story. Is Crazy Brew can suck a high hard one, is what I'm going to say about that one.
Yeah.
So frankly, that's the part about this card is what Tom said, is that they have gloves already. It's the gambler's gloves. It allows you to sort of redo a bad die roll. And in this case, you're replacing your safety net with something that has, again, a relatively scary downside. But again, it's if you're a gambling man or woman, then go for it. Strap on the Skull Crushers and go. I pulled a cold foil of this, and it still did not entice me to even think once about playing it.
It seems good in KO, like with his specialization being able to ignore the ones, but that's only a single turn that you have that. So otherwise, it's great. And if you're going to be really gambling, yes, you'll probably have more upside than downside. But it's also cool. It could be the first dice you roll, and then you there goes my arms.
I mean, at best, if you hit on this, I mean, what's your net gain out of it? I mean, you're getting what, maybe plus 3 in Christmas Land?
Yeah, exactly.
How wide
bellows? That's what I mean. Yeah.
How wide does brute really go?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So what kind of benefit I'd rather re-roll and get my action points or some other thing than get this benefit off of it. And if you're really hurting for the one block, maybe you put it in a sideboard or something like that. But otherwise, I think this is kind of a miss.
Yeah. Unless you just want to go pure variance, then but probably not.
Well,
Next.
I think keep going.
Then play Magic. I don't.
Then play Magic.
Yeah.
And then wait for your lands to come.
I love Mana Screw.
Nice. Swing Big is the next one. So a 2-cost attack for 8 potentially. What do you reckon?
Big attack. Good. I mean, it's fine. I played it in KO the other day, and it was
that
fun.
Could go well. Yeah.
16
damage. Yeah.
High rate. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And certain matchups that won't be a downside if they get a quicken token. So it's not that big of a deal sometimes.
Yeah.
No, but the amount of effort it takes to fully block this out to get that quicken token, you might be taking a turn off or wasting the quicken token anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that just, I think within that, I guess it's good Prism Tech.
It feels to me like it's a card that, unless you can answer it with a red unmovable out of the arsenal and still hold a few cards, it feels just kind of. It's like you said, it's Prism Tech. It's kind of, it's just a big swing, and is what it is. So,
I mean, again, if you're
Watch
looking
your
at it from
free.
a casual perspective, you want to roll. If you roll KO with this, 16 damage in Blitz is ridiculous.com. But apart from that,
.gov even, frankly.
.gov.uk/USA/JP.
.ca.
Absolute nonsense. Love it. So next we have Ready to Roll, which was shout out to Bill from the Spike Feeders. This was his preview card. And again, it's KO specialization for 0. If you'd roll 1 or more dice this turn, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. So again, just synergizing with that particular character. You can't really use it anywhere else. But if you're running a KO deck for fun or in Blitz, you'd probably chuck this in there, wouldn't you? To be honest.
I think that's kind of the running theme with these brute cards is if you're a KO main, you're loving it.
You're loving it.
Otherwise, otherwise it's so Ready to Roll does KO does its thing. This enables it.
Yep.
It's good in KO, and I think it's one of the few cards that probably hits goes into the deck. But
Yeah.
like I think Brute's getting kind of like a B- C for this whole thing. For being honest,
I actually think this card plays. I mean, in KO, obviously,
Yeah.
but it plays really well.
Mhm.
But it's not Leviathan.
No, it's not Leviathan, is it?
right?
I
It's
don't really
not at
care.
all.
I don't care.
No, exactly.
Just wanted just one thing.
I was
And we didn't get it.
Yeah, was you expecting, or was anyone expecting Shadow and Light to get represented here or not?
No space. There's just too much stuff going
Too
on.
much
They
stuff
can't
going
do.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hoped.
I'd hoped and dreamed that Levi would see more darkness, but
If they had revealed like a elemental, like an earth, ice or lightning elemental, I would have expected to see that. So when
Mhm.
Starvo came out, we'll talk about that. But when it had the fuse ability on there, sorry, it's lingo in the group.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah,
Great.
it's got a couple other nicknames coming up.
Starvo,
but
yeah.
But when that was revealed, I got kind of hopeful. But as everything started being either generic or very talentless class based, those hopes went away.
Were
very
dashed.
quickly. Yeah, they were.
Next, we've got a playset of High Rollers. So comes in all pitches. You intimidate straight away for 0, which is always good. And it says if you have rolled 4, 5, or 6 on a die this turn, intimidate twice. And obviously it scales with the pitch. So obviously 5 or 6 on yellow and just 6 on the blue version. What do you think of this? Intimidating potentially twice on the highest possible value. It's not barraging beatdown, is it?
But it's a free intimidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs a card, but it's a free intimidate, which is not really all that great. Never mind.
Yeah.
After you roll.
Yeah.
After you roll, yeah. No other stuff. You can intimidate twice, but then when you're barraging a beatdown, the extra damage you get is basically intimidating twice anyway.
Yep.
So yeah. Bare Fangs. So it's a 2 cost. Brute action attack. When you attack with it, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card of 6 or more power is discarded this way, it gains some extra damage. Do we care about that?
Doesn't block.
Yeah, and I feel like there's better cards that have bumps from discarding 6 power. Not
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Block.
Cheers for pointing that out as well. It doesn't block. Yeah, I'd missed that. Right, so
You would have missed your hand, man.
yeah, exactly.
Give me Smash with Big Tree instead.
Smash
Give
with
me that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Wild Ride is the next one. Obviously comes in all pitch values as well. 2 cost, attacks for 6, 5, or 4, depending on the pitch value. And whenever you attack with it, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card of 6 or more power is discarded this way, Wild Ride gains Go Again. So do we want to be going wide with the Wild Ride? Probably not.
I feel like Go Again options are they're few. I feel like they're kind of, I don't want to say fewer and far between, but they're very valuable for Brute. There's not many of them. And I think that if you have this here at a 2 pitch with the 6, you might actually just pack 3 of the reds in this case, as if you do have to discard them. But again, they don't block for anything. So I feel like this is one of those situations where if you're running Brute and you just want to smash face and trade damage, then you'll pack 3 red Wild Rides.
3 reds.
Yeah, I agree. Between between Red Wild Ride, Red Pulping, and a few other things from Monarch, you can start skewing onto the aggro side with Rhinar, and this enables that. But you really you're committing to an aggro build when you have that many no blocks in there. So if that's viable, I haven't put it together yet, but
you gonna give it a go?
Hey, who knows? YOLO, maybe.
Maybe if we had more card draw, that would be better. Like that would make this much better. Because like, yeah, you can get over the blocks, but if you had more card draw or on hit effects for Brute, like drawing cards, then you'd be able to like maybe make this go a little wider.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice. Next we've got Bad Beats, a 0-cost Brute action, blocks for 3. I will start saying the block value here this time. So roll a 6-sided dice. If the number rolled is a 4, 5, or 6, or 5 or 6, or 6, depending on the pitch value, your next Brute attack this turn gains +5. Brute attack action card, I should say. Go again.
Like it.
Yeah, this is good.
This is good. Yeah.
No downside. You don't lose the game if you miss the roll.
Lose the game.
But what is subtly good about this is that it creates a die roll, which then opens up other cards that say if you rolled a blank, 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 right? So those cards that are dependent on that. The thing about this is that I feel like you open with Bad Beats, you roll the die. If you suck at life like I do with dice, then you'll just basically cry and then swing with your club and be sad. Or you have a really good turn because everything after that feels good as well. Everything, your your skull crushers give your attack +1 and all the other nonsense that basically has like your high roller. If you rolled then you play high roller, you intimidate them twice. And then you attack and you swing and you have a grand old time. But it all depends on the fact that you're doing this properly and not sucking at life and rolling the proper number on the die.
Yeah.
And it's a 50-50 shot, right? It's 4, 5, or 6. You're not just hanging on those 5s and 6s.
I think, though, even though the upside, it doesn't cost anything and it blocks for 3, I don't want to take this out of a Brute Tech, or I put this in a Brute Tech in place, taking out barraging beatdowns, or there are better for what because you need to include so many 6 powers in your Brute Deck, and then you don't have much room for really much else beyond that. Like this just doesn't fit into Rhinar, and the only person I see running this is KO.
And on top of that, like for Rhinar, you'd want to run the yellow one. Then you're down to less ability to hit that 5 or 6 because there's not the 4. So
true.
Wasn't even looking at that. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. The yellow and blue. You cut those good stuff out. I don't want to do any of this anymore.
Yeah.
I think KO's got like a pretty good UPF deck going on with these additions.
There's always a good UPF deck. You can just chuck anything you want in there, and it's going to be fine as long as you got table talk, mate.
Especially some of this crap.
Yeah,
you can throw a lot of these in there.
Listen, if I can win a UPF game, anyone can. Let's be honest. So yeah, what do you think about Brute in general then? Mainly just KO stuff then, by the looks of it. No Levia, unfortunately. Sorry, Tommy.
That's all right.
Wild Ride is maybe in Rhinar.
Yeah.
And then
depending what you want to accomplish.
Swing big. I think swing big
goes in,
right? I think swing big goes in. It's just not sexy, but it's a very good fit in constructed. So I think you'll see a lot of that. I think you can make an argument for red bad beats based on the buff, but I think other than that, it's kind of slim pickings. And I am very disappointed Levi didn't get something.
Yeah.
Well, here.
Cool. So next on the list we got Guardian. So who's a Guardian player out of any of us? Any of us? Somebody Guardian?
I might have to be in Philadelphia, but
yeah,
not happy about it.
So we've got the gem first of all, which is being pulled all over the place, and some of us have actually just witnessed the gem being pulled, even though we didn't pull it ourselves as well, which is a bit of a shame.
This card sucks until I open one.
The addendum to the statement.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a blue. That's what Guardians want to pitch,
Yeah.
and they get
Yeah.
a discount the next turn. It's great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I want one.
I want one. So yeah, we all know that's generally good. The Valahai, and then we have what was the aforementioned name for this character, Pat? What was it?
Starvo.
Starvo.
Yep.
Oh, I get it.
Branos.
Branos,
Slash-
as in Thanos plus Bravo.
Yeah, this is what happens when you give Bravo the Infinity Gauntlet. With all the
that's
gems.
brilliant.
You get this.
All the gems in one.
Yeah.
Just imagine
yeah,
that. He
he's
can
online.
Essence of Gems, Essence of Fabled, can use all Fabled cards in his deck.
He might as well. I mean, this guy has hit the card pool is so deep. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you can use one of the bows that just came out as well.
Yeah.
Like he can do just about anything he wants.
Yeah.
It's a crazy card. I think people are. I think the reveal, the requirement to hit the reveal is a daunting one.
Yeah.
You're either gonna you're either content with the card pool, and we can dive into this at the end, but you're either going to be content with the super wide card pool and not worry so much about the reveal requirement, or you're building around that reveal requirement, and it's
Yeah.
going to be slightly different than your usual Guardian build if you do that.
So
Yeah,
what do
it's-
you?
it's-
So what do you make use of for Guardian now that he's got Essence of Earth, Ice, and Lightning? I mean, I'm not a Guardian player, so I wouldn't know the intricacies. But now that he has those cards, Paul, what would you use to maybe accentuate an existing strategy or a completely new one? What do you think would be the answer to that?
I think Awakening is
Yeah,
number
right.
one
That's
in
the
my book.
first thing that comes to mind is Awakening, right? Earth Fusion Guardian.
Yeah.
Instant. You're if you're running that, you're incentivized to play a more aggressive line anyways, not block so much, so you can strategically use Awakening. And now you have with Awakening and Bravo, you can play a free Crippling Crush and other gross things like that. That's the first thing.
That's the
comes to mind.
first thing. Ugh.
Free Crippling Crush because it now has access to Awakening is probably what everyone's gonna look at first.
Yeah, that's not very nice, is it?
Channel on Heroic as well, just to because Guardian needs to go a little bit higher because they're not going strong enough yet. So
Yeah.
You can also give this bastard the Winter's Whale. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's one option.
Yeah. I think more than anything, this guy now has the most insane equipment sideboard anyone has ever seen.
Oh, God, yeah.
This guy can run Crown of Seeds, Shock Charmers, Winter's Whale, both new shields,
Heart of Ice. Yeah.
Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's really gonna shine. You're gonna be
Null
able to
Rune?
customize.
Null Rune, yeah.
Yeah,
Null Rune
Arcane
boots.
Lantern. But yeah, I mean, it can, right? It can Arcane Barrier 5 if you want it to. Basically, you can adjust this armor. You can adjust his armor suite for your meta to basically do whatever you want.
Yeah.
With it because it has so much. The idea of Shock Charm is super spicy to me. Like being able to punch something over and then just
Throw
dump your
blues
hand
away.
in and potentially make that into something.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of potential, and the ability itself is super super crazy. +2 dominate and go again on something is a lot. I think people are overestimating what it can do because of all the things that you need to do. You're probably only extending your turn one more attack. I mean, you're not chaining 4 or 5 attacks unless you're going into this crazy lightning build. But I think that's what you're.
Yeah, all the seismic surge generation and that sort of stuff, heave, all that kind of stuff is really playing into that as well, of being able to actually have resources to make a big swing and then go again after that too.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I think Blink is huge in this deck, or in some versions of it, giving Guardian cards, 2 attacks is pretty scary.
Yeah. That just straight up gives you an action point, doesn't it, Blink?
Yeah.
Yep. It's an instant.
Oh, yeah. Oh dear. Can't wait to see some degeneracy with that one. What do we also think about heroes now being printed at Majestic? Because we haven't had that yet, have we? Apart from, obviously, Shiana being a legendary, we haven't had heroes being brought into a set at a rarity higher than token. Because is it going to make the... Because if someone wants to play this card, they have to pay extra for it, rather than just getting it given to them as a token. They have to pay extra for it. So what's everyone's thoughts on their direction of maybe making heroes harder to get?
I like to better at rare.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just of the thought process that unless it's like Shiana, this like, I don't want to say unplayable, but this like really odd, really out of left field kind of character. I don't know much about the lore, so I'm not I can't speak to that. But I always feel that there should never be a lock on the door like right out of the gate. Like picture it as like you're going to someone's house, like how welcome would you feel if you show up and the gate is like the gate is locked, you can't even get onto the property. Like that's how it feels when the hero itself is at that kind of rarity.
Yeah.
Whereas I could understand getting in, going to the house, and like, okay, like the 1 or 2 rooms are locked out because and you can't have access to everything because you just but if you're right out of the gate shut out from playing it because it's just too expensive or you can't have access because of the rarity factor, that could be problematic, especially if it's a hyper playable one like Bravo or Starvo or Joseph, the Technicolor Dreamcoat or whatever the hell he looks like, Pirates of the Caribbean Bravo. All of this, it should not. There should never be that kind of stopgap on playing a hero because the hero itself is inaccessible. I liked it when all the heroes were it feels like it's not like it's a planeswalker. Like this starts on the board. This is part of the kit. This is the whole theme of what you're trying to do. Slapping a rarity on it, I'm not. It doesn't feel too palatable for me.
Yeah, it's the same here. It's like if they're gonna do it, it's wise to do it in the supplement sets because they're not draftable heroes, are they? Because they're not draftable sets. So if there's anywhere to do it, I guess this would be the place where it is. But as soon as you're locking a certain hero, which is obviously all the rage at the moment, behind what is essentially a rarity, which is then costing people more money, it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, if there's anywhere that they can do it, it's in this one. But I don't think, to be fair, if you look at the non-foil versions of this, I think they're still fairly cheap. I think you can still get them fairly cheap, so they're not too expensive, to my knowledge.
Do you have one, Tommy?
Sure do.
All right, so therefore it does not suck. Tommy owns one. It does not suck.
No, that I have.
Oh, he's got the mat as well.
Nice.
I won that one though.
The Flexin Buds podcast right there.
That's what we're gonna call it from now on.
The spin-off.
Love it. So speaking of Bravo,
actually, do we know if there's rules in place for the legality of heroes like that? I mean, you can play Reinhardt without actually owning it. I mean, or do they have something in place that says?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, can you just pick up Bravo Star of the Show and just choose that as your hero? And
I don't know about that.
Not necessarily have the card in it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, just throwing that out there.
Just throwing it out there.
It's like an NFT at that point, right?
It is.
Yeah. That's all. If
that's cool. You bought it. Cool. I also own it.
Play it.
Oh, brilliant.
I would be okay with the rarity if that were the case.
Yeah.
If it didn't actually affect its playability.
I can't imagine they would block out certain heroes from that rule. I can't. If that's a real rule, then I
well, that's the thing. I've never played a sanction event with a Crucible rare hero. So I don't know how that works.
I think it's mainly for draft, isn't it? If you're drafting and you've got a certain pool,
well, that's the thing, right? Your rarities are usually for a draft purpose there, but usually I don't mean to open Pandora's box, but as I was thinking that, like, what?
That's what we do here: open Pandora's box and play with it.
The abyss is staring back already. Let's move on before I get lost again.
So yeah, we're still on the same theme. We got Bravo, we got Staglamite, Bastion of Eisenloft. Who's opened one of these? Anybody? No.
Sucks. No,
Looks gorgeous.
no, this
though.
card's good.
Yeah, does look good. And a good friend of a lot of us, I think, Capolo actually predicted this very card. So let's give him a shout out. Well done, the seer of Everfest.
The Swiss Prophet.
Yeah, absolutely. Bang on the money as well. So yeah, a Ice Guardian equipment offhand. Whenever you defend with it, create a Frostbite token under attacking hero's control, temper, and obviously blocks for 2. So yeah, this is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think at first glance that temper is a little off-putting, but at the end of the day, you're still you're blocking 3 like any other legendary equipment, and you're getting an effect out of it. The other shield, Rampart, I think it's just a different beast. That block, that methodical block 1 plays differently, but with Stalagmite, you have a bit of a bigger shell, right? If you have all your equipment blocking, you can block out 13 to 15 with equipment, depending on what you're wearing.
That's outrageous, isn't it? 15 with equipment.
If you have all
and
block
interact
shields.
with their next turn as well with the frostbite. I mean, that's nothing to scare about, is it? That little frostbite.
Yeah,
they're
no,
such a menace, aren't they?
They hurt.
God,
They hurt a lot,
they do hurt. Yes.
especially against if you're a Katsu main and you want to.
You speak
throw
from
Kadachi
experience
stuff.
here.
Yeah, it really hurts.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we all know that's pretty good. And then we got the next hero in the set, which is a young hero, again at Majestic Rarity, Valda Britax, which Kel from Red Zone Rogue is actually playing on the next UPF video, I might add. So whenever an opponent draws a card during an action phase, create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. At the start of your turn, if you control 3 or more Seismic Surge tokens, cards you control with Crush gain Dominate this turn. And she has 1 extra life as well. What do you think about
Funny
Valda?
that it doesn't synergize with her Cranial Crush card from the original Welcome to Wraith because it disallows card draw. So that's just kind of a funny interaction. If you think it
That's interesting,
something.
yeah. Is that actually her on the art then? Is it just crushing that
It is.
skull? It is, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And just quotes from her too.
Flavor
so.
text as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Otherwise,
yeah.
it seems great. I mean, we're going to see a lot of card draw from this set in general, and people want to draw cards. So
Who doesn't?
seems good. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
She looks like she's fun, and
Yeah.
that's where she belongs.
Yeah.
Being fun.
So yeah, Earthlore Bounty. This is the equipment. Again, temper for 2. So as Pat, you said, you blocks for 3 in total over the course of the game. And whenever you draw a card from the effect of an action card, I got this wrong when I first looked at it. Create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. So this won't trigger from stuff like Hope Merchant's Hood because it's not an action card. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So those interactions need to be looked at beforehand. But yeah, this is still pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Especially with all the elements running around from the arsenal that draw cards when you play them and stuff.
Tome of Harvest loves this card.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. So any card draw ramps you for a massive attack, which is always good. So
I think this and Valda, go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And, this is your build around, right? This is what the supplemental set is for. This is a equipment that does something different that makes you want to build your deck differently than you're used to, and create effects that you haven't played before. And I love Majestic level equipment that is better than Skull Crushers. This checks all the boxes.
Yeah. I mean, it opens up a new avenue for play, doesn't it? It opens up a new archetype that you could use or build around, which I like as a theme and flavor sort of thing. Next, we have the strongest attack in the game, Pulverize. Who wants to use this? Because I have no idea.
I think
Rouse-
everybody.
Any Guardian?
You wanna like one tap
Guardian
your
class.
Rouse the Ancients and
Every
just
Guardian.
be like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I'll play Rouse the Ancients and show you 1 card. It's like,
Yep.
oh, okay, thank you. I guess this is gonna hurt. The Heave ability. I mean, I'm not a major Guardian player by any means. I've been dabbling in it because of all these new cards. So I played a bunch of it over the past couple days. just to get acclimated to how to play Guardian. I've played against it a ton, but you drop a Rouse the Ancients, you show a Pulverize, and just your opponent looks at you like, oh dear Christ. Like, this is because they know it's around the corner. They know that that's something that they have to, if they whiff on a turn, that is something that can come back and just absolutely just devastate you. The heave ability of kind of just putting that card on layaway, so to speak, is a great option. And when Pulverize hits a hero, it's not a crush effect. It's any of that trickles through. You're pretty safe on the next turn as well. So it's a massive threat. I don't think it's a 3 of in a deck. I think it's a card that you can just kind of be content having a solo floating around, as potential danger for your opponent. But with the amount of big swings, like you thought Crippling Crush was like scary. This thing is an absolute beast, because if you do heave it, it comes in at 7 more or less, and which is what Crippling Crush comes in at, so that's pretty decent in my opinion. And they'll know it's coming, so they can kind of brace for it. But the fact that it's an on hit, not a crush effect, gives it so much more leeway. You're either buying their hand and the on hit effect doesn't really matter, or you're just absolutely posterizing them and don't have to worry about the swing back.
The only downside is that if you do you can just take all the damage next turn and then save your cards in hand so you can pay the 7 or whatever. But the slight upside is you can use those Seismic Surge for anything. But the problem is if you have to block with your hand and then this is sitting in your arsenal face up, it's really hard to get a 10 card cost out of your arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that downside of heaving it in, or actually just arsenaling it in general, is you got to be sure that you're going to be able to knock that out next turn, or else it's just going to be kind of a pain to get it out.
Yeah, you got to commit to it, right? Yeah. And the other downside of this card is that it's expensive, and I can't own many of them right now. So that is also a downside.
Does Tommy have one? That's the question, though, right?
Yeah.
Do
Tommy?
I have one? Oh, I don't remember.
Does it actually suck?
Tommy's going to be like, Tommy's just going to say, Pulverize, good card. Full art Pulverize, trash.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, no, this card sucks.
Yeah, there it is.
I know. I'm just there. I'm like, okay, is it a good card? Is it a good card? Oh yeah, Valda, good card. All right, perfect. Yeah, I gotcha.
It is a good card. Silver Palms. We'll get to that.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a staple.
So good. Get that price up. Come on,
Let's
guys.
Go.
Yeah.
Sweet. We've got Imposing Visage next. X+3 or X3. Blocks for 3. Search your deck for an aura card of cost X or less and put it into arena, then shuffle, go again. Pitches for blue. What do we
Card
want?
is good, and it will only get better.
I'm liking the X3 of this because it has a lot of tournament implications. Saying, "Oh, I'm X3." This to me, this is just I would call it the tournament drop. It's you're X3. Okay, adios.
Are you used to that, Flake?
Oh boy, might as well call it X3, aka Flake. That is, if I was an X-Men or if I was a mutant in Marvel, they'd call it. There's X23. No, there's X3. That's me. Weapon X3. That's gonna be my new name.
Protracting claws and all.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Part of the upside of this is some of the older auras never gave Go Again. So that's where you can get Go Again, because it just puts it in the arena. So Showtime, if you're playing Bravo, you can go snatch something. Admittedly, paying 6 for that is kind of rough, but then you can actually have a follow up. So that's where there's a positive aspect. But I do agree with Tommy. It's only gonna get better as we see more auras.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Cool. Look forward to that then. Not. Next we have, speaking of auras, we have Nerves of Steel. This costs 3, pitches for blue, blocks for 3 also. When Nerves of Steel enters the arena, remove a -1 counter from a chest equipment you control. Battle Worn and Temper on equipment you control doesn't trigger if it defends an attack with 2 or less power. And when your hero is dealt damage, destroy Nerves of Steel. So this is a nerf, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think at the very least you're extending your armor. If you're running 3 of, you're gaining 3 more block total out of that. And whether or not you use the second ability, I think it's definitely worth putting in there to get your armor Battle Worn counter off.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's like Great Ninja hate. I mean,
Yeah.
Kodachis don't do much with this, but outside of that, like, who's really swinging in for one or two? Not most heroes. So like, it's definitely
When Benji makes the transition.
I was gonna
to
say
60.
Benji hate.
Yeah,
Come on,
this is
Benji.
it.
well, you can't block though, so it doesn't matter.
It's going through
But you can
regardless.
still use your equipment to block Benji. You just can't block from hand.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, that's perfect then. Look at that.
Yeah, this is
we
the
are.
only thing saving you from Benji if you're Guardian.
Yeah, it's all we need is Control Guardian to just go ahead and continue to not do anything for God knows how long.
Yep, just
Block
keep
better.
shelling up.
Stop it. Just stop it.
Stop turning
Ugh.
that in.
Yeah. That's it. You sit down to like that was like what the biggest concern was. Like you sit down next to like an inexperienced bad Oldham player, and I'm like, all right, chalk up 2 L's. Let's go. Because it's like, I get it. I know your strategy, but if you have to think about every turn, like for like 2 or 3 minutes, like you need to, if you want a chance, like they're just there to, you're a passenger on that train wreck going over a bridge. Like that's basically what that is. So,
Flake, is that the X3 versus XX3 matchup?
yeah. Oh God. Ah! Flashbacks.
Next, we have Thunderquake. So this comes in all pitch versions. Obviously, the pitch determines the power on this card, and it does block for 3, but it costs 6, and it has heave 3. So either attacks for 10, 9, or 8. Thoughts on Thunderquake?
Love the red. I mean, it's a nice way to. It's a good rate for a Guardian card. Yeah, there's no on-hit effects, but it's still very powerful. And with at 6 or 3 cost, theoretically, you can like pummel this into high heaven.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's the beauty of it, right? It creates a scenario where you have to pitch one card to play it the next turn, which opens up so much. It allows you to perhaps block with a card or 2. It allows you to, pitch blue to play it, and then like you said, just pummel on top of it. So you're able to withstand some damage, maybe stop an on-hit effect with an equipment and 1/3 block, and then come back and just do your thing. So I really do like Thunderquake. I think it's pretty decent. But a lot of the value of this card comes back to the fact that it's 6 cost and not 7, and it has the heave 3. And heave is quite. I think that heave is, in all honesty, one of the most underrated aspects of this set is that it is a very, very strong new keyword that if we see more of, could potentially be problematic.
The Guardians needed more of those.
Yes.
Just wrap cards.
Guardian needed more ways to just piss you off.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to emphasize. I think heaving pulverized can be a trap, though. That one's like, I can get this for 3 less on my turn, but like that's like heaving Thunderquake is one where like I can block with 3 cards and still be able to then take 1 blue and play Thunderquake, and you're fine. But pulverize, that like if you heave pulverize, like that's a huge red flag to your opponent where they're like,
Pressure.
okay, now either I need to pressure you or I need to protect myself from this. Like Thunderquake is just like, all right, this is a good way to deal 10 damage if you heave it. So I think that's just the one clause on the heave mechanic is like, on some cards it's going to be really good, on others it's a trap.
I think
it's a trap.
I think it's a one of. That's what makes it a one of. But I get what you're saying, because it will just sit there and live there, and it'll root itself into your arsenal, and you will have trouble getting by it. But that's where you have to pick and choose when the proper option is to actually play it, because you might actually just you might face down an arsenal, or you might have a single seismic surge token, and then you triple blue and play it, and that just feels bad, but it's still 14 attack. But
for sure,
ultimately the danger would lie if you do show your opponent and they're playing something like Ice Lexi, or they're trying to frost you out and you get frostbite tokens. That's when it becomes a pain in the ass. But it takes the right climate to drop that in and be successful with it. So 3 of is dangerous. 1 of could very well spell lethal if you're in a comfortable position and you can take a hit, so to speak. Like if your opponent's playing a hero that doesn't have many on-hit effects that really you care about. So very, very, very possible that this, in the right scenario, can just close out a game.
For sure.
Sweet.
I do think the
Sorry, carry on.
blues. I think the blues for this one and the next one, I think probably replace your 5 attack blues that you were just keeping in your Guardian for fillers or your Cartilage Crush and everything. I've never felt good about attacking with those. So I think for me, it's an easy swap to get the pitch in. I don't know if people are playing Anathos anymore. Apparently, everyone switched to Sledge at some point recently. But all the 5 attacks were horrible for triggering Rouse, and now between Thunderquake, if you do Thunderquake Blue and Macho Grande Blue, those are 2 more cards that 3+ attack or +3 attack on your just reveal hand, so it's that much easier to do what you want to do.
Just strictly better for that, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, in your Zealous Beltings and things like that, you don't have to worry about so much about
yeah, that's true.
Not hitting on those cards there.
Nice. So yeah, as you mentioned there, the next one is Macho Grande. So this is just another massive attack. It just has Dominate on a stick as well, which is quite nice. The break point is obviously this one costs 7, unfortunately. So 7. Obviously the pitch value determines the attack. So we've got 10, 9, and 8, and this one blocks for 3. So I think maybe the blue version, as you said. But what about the yellow and red? Would you use those or not?
Yellows are gross in Guardian. No one likes to play yellow in Guardian, so you're not going to play those. The red ones are nice. I mean, this is great with Tectonic Plating. I mean, this is now a 2 blue card, and that's where it's going to live. I mean, you have better options at red, maybe. I mean, the Dominate is nice that you don't have to pay for it. So if you think about it that way, what other 10 attacks do you have in the card pool that have auto dominate rather than having to pay 2 for?
That's the thing. Yeah, you can fetch it. You can fetch it with the Awakening and then potentially end the game with it, but. Yeah, 7 cost is the thing, isn't it?
Bravo, star of the show, can have this and Glacial Footsteps.
Oh,
your red dominate attacks.
You can fetch whatever you want for the occasion because he's the star of the show. Lovely old job. And then we've got Seismic Stir. So in all pitch values, it creates a various amount of Seismic Surge tokens, blocks for 3, and goes again, costs 2.
I think I hate
the
it.
red one's okay in Valda, but outside of that,
yeah,
you're gaining 1 resource back over 2 turns. I don't know. What do I know?
Is that worth it in Blitz though?
What was that, Russ?
I don't think that's gonna pay you off in Blitz though. Like, cool, I'm gaining 1 over time, but like, it's like cool.
Yeah.
It took 2 turns, and like, I just why not play Tectonic Plating and then didn't have that like sort of always rolling.
Yeah.
I think I hate it.
Nice.
I'm sure I'll be totally surprised when someone makes this the core of a deck, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we're all slating it, and then we'll just get hit on it. It's just the way it happens, isn't it? Really. Oh, that card's rubbish. Oh no, I can't believe that card just won me the game. Ridiculous. We have Steadfast next. So this is a 3 cost. Comes in all pitches, and it says prevent the next 6, 5, or 4 damage that will be dealt to your hero this turn by a source of your choice. So any damage from any source. Does this have a place?
Sideboard for Kano matchups?
I would say that maybe if you could say, okay, the source of my choice is you, like that would be pretty decent to a degree, but it can't, that's not a thing. You are not a thing. So well, I don't mean it that way. You know what I mean? But like, you know, it's just the player itself is not the source. It's a card or something like that regard. So it's
It can prevent arcane if it's a single source. So that's like the positive side is it does not. You can beat out your armor that has a fixed level of arcane barrier. So
yeah.
Does this work against Fork Lightning? Can this block out?
I believe there are 2 sources though. They're like considered 2.
The source is forked, or is
They're
it
considered 1 source though. So this will stop 6 of the 14 damage if you do a stir fork for 14.
Yeah. All right.
So if you do 6 off this and then Arcane Barrier 3, if you've got the Lantern, Arcane Barrier 4 off that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because it's coming from the same card, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it has that 2 instances of the same thing. That usually messes some people up.
Yeah.
Like the Arcane Barrier only affects like 1 part of that.
Bloody Fork Lightning.
Yeah, I have no idea about Steadfast, if we're being honest.
Right, who's a ninja main then? I know you are, Pat. Flake as well.
Flake
I mean,
would.
Been known to dabble.
Dabble in ninja. Dabble in the mystical arts. Yeah. Sweet.
I am I'm Katsu first.
Katsu main,
I
yeah.
haven't done
Same.
much with Benji or Ira, but I know them.
Yeah. Everyone knows Ira, don't they? Gosh, the menace. Sweet. So we've got Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, first of all. So blocks for 2. Ninja equipment head. And whenever an attack action card you control hits, you may destroy it. If you do, search your deck for an attack action card with 2 or less power, banish it, then shuffle. You may play it this turn. And Blade Breaks. Obviously, if you block with this, it gets destroyed. So.
Well, if I may.
Go on, let's go.
So as this was revealed, I was writing like a script for a top 5 video of like top 5 legendaries that you can bank on being good for a long time, or you don't have to worry about paying money for because they're going to be good. And on that list, at like number 4 or 5, was Mask of Momentum. And I said, as I was writing it, was when the tweet came out showing Mask of Pouncing Lynx. And I literally, the first paragraph I wrote was, or in that paragraph was something along the lines of, in order for this card to, like any ninja headpiece will never be as good as this. And if it is better than this, it will be banned because it's just not going to be as good as constantly threatening a card draw, which is a powerful mechanic in the game. And it blocks for 2. It is a constant threat. It is not the fact that the mask itself is dangerous. It's the fact that you're threatening mask that creates scenarios for your opponent to make them feel uncomfortable. I said there's never going to be a headpiece. I said I'd be surprised if they print a headpiece because there's already a solid choice. And then they came out with this. And so I had to write in, yes, Mask of Pouncing Lynx just came out, and don't play it in CC. So it didn't matter. But this Mask of Momentum is just, it's an ongoing threat, because the second you pop Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, it's like, okay, like, it's, the problem is that you can play, you use the ability and you lose the block, or you use the block and then you lose the ability. So it's one or the other. Mask will always have the ability, or Mask of Momentum will always have the ability, and then at the end of the game, towards the end, you can use it to block if necessary to close out a game. So it's bad. Well, bad. Bad for
Well,
CC.
it's not bad though. It's bad for Katsu, 100%. But this map, like Pouncing Lynx, was meant to be for Benji and Benji alone. And in Benji, this is incredible because you can, like, Benji can OTK someone, and the fact that you can go attack, and then Mask of the Lynx, grab Spring Tidings, and then finish your opponent off. This is incredible for Benji. Like, Benji doesn't care about the block value on this. Benji cares about the fact that he can refill his hand and keep going.
Yeah, and it's a search, it's not a card draw, which is why it's much, much better in that regard.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
when to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Katsu doesn't care about this card, like, at all. But yeah, no, you're like, for Benji, this is a must have. And a scary one at that. Like,
I'd also like to say though that this does not look like something that can block for 2 damage. Just want to say that.
No.
This is
no.
You don't think the little child in the cat mask isn't intimidating?
No.
Helm
Like
of
how
Eisen's Peak blocks for 1. This blocks for 2. Come on now.
Iron Wrought Helmet, like, is
Right?
one.
Exactly.
This paper mask you get at a child's birthday party is like, dunking on ball lightnings. Yeah.
There's even a stick hanging off of it, so they're just holding it there like this. Ridiculous. Yeah. Bloody hell.
Right. This is excellent in Benji, and as we'll kind of expand here as it goes on, I think people, if this form of Benji is real, people have to worry about these cards that we're going to talk about. Because if OTK Benji is a thing, and it goes to S tier real quick, then don't spec on cold foil Pouncing Lynxes quite yet.
So speaking of the Benji then, might as well just jump to this card first. Spring Tidings, as you mentioned there, Adam. So this is a 0 cost, ninja action attack, blocks for 3, attacks for 2, Benji specialization, so it can only be used by Benji. So when it hits, draw a card for each other attack action card with 2 or less base power you control on the combat chain. So what does this do? This just draws you a load of cards then for everything that you've played before it. And then you can just play all of those cards as well.
This card is insane in Benji. The fact that you can, because you're gonna like when you build a Benji deck, you build around his ability, and you can go infinite with Spring Tidings like easily. And I think like infinite enough that you can kill someone
in Blitz
on the turn you play it.
Yeah.
And I know people who've already successfully OTK'd people with like this card is a real threat in Blitz now, I think. And it blocks for 3. Like,
yeah.
Like the fact that it doesn't block for 2 actually surprises me because of how powerful this card is. And thematically with Ninja, we've seen lots of block 2s in the past. So I'm almost surprised that this is a 3 block.
Here comes the power creep. Here it comes.
Well, this and between if you have you only really need one of these, right? If you set it up right, you have one of these in hand, and you know that Mask can fetch you the other one. So wherever you go, and if you can hit with this, if this is the 5th attack on the chain, right? You're drawing 5, you're breaking this, so you're getting your 6th one off of that, and you're hitting for another you know a bajillion, and then your 2nd Spring Tidings draws you the rest of your deck. It's just nuts.
And they can't block it because of the 2 base power thing, which you'll
you have
obviously.
This is what you're blocking, right? Out of everything else, you're putting everything that you can. You're not using your armor for anything else against Benji except for Spring Tidings. You're putting whatever you can in front. Yeah. You have now changed your sideboard in Blitz to make sure that you have a 2 block at least, a piece of equipment. If you weren't running Iron Hides, you're putting something in there now to make sure that you're accounting for Benji.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular card, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good
one.
I'm
happy it's Blitz because it's in 2, right? So, if Benji somehow made it over to CC and you could run 3 of these and it works out, that's
gross.
gross.
Oh. So let's go back up again then. Let's go back up to this one. Break Tide, costs 0, blocks for 3, attacks for 2. It's the only one because it's majestic. Combo. So if Rushing River, lovely art on that one, or Flood of Force was the last attack this combat chain, Break Tide gains +3, so it becomes 5 and dominate. And when it hits, banish top card of your deck until end of turn, you may play it. That's just value, isn't it, really? For that, it's finishing off that combo as well, I believe, isn't it? It didn't have a finisher before, did it? That combo.
Well, Flood of Force was the finisher.
Yeah. Right.
Now this is an alternate finisher. This kind of works the same way as like the fact that we had Blackout Kick, or we had Hurricane Technique, or we had Pounding Gale or Fluster Fist. Break Tide kind of adds that versatility, but it's a 3 block, so it's playable. But I think there's some weird deck out there that wants to run this with Flood of Force, and I don't know if it runs a ton of D-reacts that allow it to just like filter and cycle its deck and then build up to this infinite turn. But the way the meta sits right now, I don't see this as being played.
It's also easy to block 5, even as Dominate.
Yeah.
So it's like not going to guarantee you a card draw either.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can get it with Mask.
You can. You can fetch it.
Yeah.
I don't think this makes me want to play that line anymore than I did before.
No. Torrented Tempo is too easy to block. That's the problem. If Torrented Tempo was a guaranteed go again, like say Surging Strike or Leg Tap or Head Jab was, then Rushing River would become much more playable. But the fact that Torrented Tempo is so easy to block, it makes Rushing River just a dead card in your hand a lot of the times. And that alone makes this combo line so hard to play.
Get windy.
It's getting windy out there.
Yeah. Talk about the spice.
Cool. So going down, so the next majestic in this ninja suite is Winds of Eternity. So this costs 0. Again, another 2 attack, which you can get if needed. Again, blocks for 3. Combo. So if 100 wins was the last attack of this combat chain, Winds of Eternity gains +2, and when it hits, shuffle all cards named 100 wins you own on the combat chain into the deck. So what?
Suck it, fatigue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
right?
a fatigue tool.
I just
I-
want to do that. Like,
I
I want to
really
do a
like
whole
this.
chain of those. That's
Yeah.
all I want to do. I don't play
Right.
Ninja, but if I could do that and always do that, I would play Ninja.
Yeah.
I really, really like 100 wins into Winds of Eternity. I've been
Yes.
playing around with this and like Belittle Minnowism as well with the 100 wins
Yeah.
line.
Okay.
Been playing around with this as well, and then even bigger than that with like some of these. It's really good that Ninja, because Ninja, it seems Katsu has. I mean, you're never gonna sort of play off or come off of the Magenshi Express to Lord of Wind Station, as I call it, like just going down that surging line. You want to ride the Magenshi Express the whole way, but what's the second amount? Like, what's the second combo line that you're going through? It's typically, tap into Rising, into whatever, into Hurricane or Blackout and whatever. You wanted something to supplant that as the way to go, and this seems like it fits the bill for exactly what Katsu wants to do, because you're pumping in 9 cards with 100 wins, all of which are 0 cost. So you got the blue pitch, you got the Kadachi fuel kind of in there to go, as well as cards that can trade up with your game text or your hero text. And then you got Winds of Eternity as well. It's just another standard, just min-maxing your blue pitch for 0. That's a 2 attack with 3 defense, blue pitch, 0 cost, and it's the combo finisher as well that really just reloads your whole line. I have had nothing but joy playing these cards in there. That's the first thing I did was I built like a Katsu with where I took out the leg tap line, added in these couple soul beads, couple your 3 ancestrals, some razor reflexes, the whole 9 yards, and just it's nutty, because if you do pop off on it, it's delicious. Plus all those cards have combo on them. So you'll be able to hit your breaking scales on it. You'll be able to fetch them with your Katsu text. So nothing. There's no. In my opinion, the only downside is the fact that 100 wins blocks for 2. So it sucks, but it's just a really powerful line. It's a great aggro tool.
Just reminds me of E Honda from Street Fighter. It's just all of these hands like.
I was a Blanca player. I didn't know how to play those things, so I just kept tapping
Blanca,
just kept tapping the thing to just go electric and just come at me. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. My cousin beat the crap out of me with those games.
I believe they call that turtling. Where you just like this.
Yes. I was the ultimate. I was the Street Fighter fatigue player. I'm like, you really want to do this? I'm like, I'll go to time, baby, every time. Let's go.
This. Yeah, let's go to fatigue. I'm just going to sit here and electrocute myself. Love it.
I think one of my favorite things about this line here now is that it kind of clarifies what your blue pitch is in Katsu. I think before the idea was to have a 0 cost blue pitch, and that was really kind of flexible, and sometimes it was kind of a trash card. Now you have usable cards in those things, so when they come around again, that's not necessarily dead.
Yeah.
And having multiple blues at this point doesn't necessarily mean the worst thing in the world. Like if you chain even just 2 blues, 2 or 3 of the blues into a wins because you pitch those you pitch those early and coming back to them, you're still getting a little more value than that Kadachi find center for 2 late game line that kills you anyways.
So now we're on to the commons of Ninja. Just skim through these. So we've got Ride the Tailwind, so blue, yellow, and red. Cost nothing. And obviously the damage output scales with the pitch. It's a blocks for 2. And when it hits, the next attack action card with 2 or less base power, you play as combat chain, gains go again, and it has go again itself.
Not really contributing to anything to any existing ninja heroes.
This will happen, some people sit out on these classes because we just don't give a fuck, to be honest.
I don't think that's what he was saying, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying how it is, I've sat out this entire time until we get to Ranger, and that's it. I'm going off. So yeah, we don't care about that.
Yellow and blue are great Benji cards.
Yeah,
you can extend your combat chain with them. So I think these are auto includes in the Benji OTK deck that'll be banned next month.
Be banned. You said it now. It's being banned.
So buy everything for it now.
Yeah. Load up. Coming.
Cool. Twin Sisters. This costs 1. Obviously, the damage scales with the pitch. And it says blocks for 2. Choose 1. Twin Sisters gains when this attack hits, or when this hits, your next attack this combat chain gains +1, or Twin Sisters itself gains +1. Nobody cares?
I don't know.
It just run leg tap.
Just leg tap.
Yeah. This doesn't do much.
It doesn't do much. Cool. We'll go with the consensus on that one. Wax on. So ninja defense reaction. Is this better than Flick Flack? Costs nothing. Blocks for 3, 2, or 1. But it says while Wax on is defending an attack action card of cost nothing, it has +2.
Is this some card you play in the mirror?
In the mirror.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mirror, or if Cheerios Briar.
Yeah,
Like
Cheerios
that, where you're
Briar.
running
idea.
heavy zeros. So sideboard, meta dependent sideboard tech.
Nice. Cool. Warrior then. Who likes a warrior?
Love me some warrior.
Love
I
a good
do.
warrior. Lovely old job. So start off with the Helm of the Sharp Eye. So this is a battle-worn equipment, so it sticks around even if you block with it, which is nice. And it has an attack reaction, costs 1, destroy it, banish top card of your deck. You may play it this combat chain and activate its ability only if you control a weapon with power greater than twice its base power. That's a lot of text.
I think this card's great.
It's great.
Warrior didn't have anything in this slot already,
hmm
and you have some kind of manipulation of the top of your deck.
Yep.
As it is, I think it's going to perform well. I've already been playing with it. It's a lot of fun.
With
Only
what
blacks for
hero?
1, though.
Dorinthia.
Dorinthia.
What was that, Russ?
It only blacks for 1. What kind of warrior equipment only blacks for 1? That's some crap.
That's some
See, does Dorinthia really want to run this over Skullcap? I don't think so. Like
I wanna
I
run
think this
every-
card's great for Bolton. Like Raiden Bolton, who can use this like anything above 0 on Raiden is good, and
Oh, yeah, then
this
we can
can.
Yeah, that's good.
But Dorinthia, like
I run
So
Axis
she needs-
Dorinthia, I should say. Not
Axis.
not
Okay, maybe
Dawnblade.
Axis. I could see Dawnblade for sure not. Like this.
Yeah.
This does not replace Skullcap and Dawnblade Dorinthia.
Mhm. But yeah, Axis. Yeah, Dawnblade. No bueno. But
Axis,
I run
yeah.
the Axis. A little bit easier to trigger.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Got anything to say on that? Cool. Next we got Shatter, which is the first card of its kind. So 0 cost warrior attack reaction, blocks for 3. Instead of turn, target 2-handed weapon gains whenever this will deal physical damage. Instead you may destroy a defending equipment with defense less than the damage that will be dealt this way. So it's an equipment destroyer, but they have had to block with it. This is what I misread the first time. I thought it could just nuke any equipment, but they have to have chose to block with it. Defending equipment only. So is this any good now as a result of that?
The coolest thing about this card is that it is showing us that there will be more two-handed warrior weapons.
Oh yeah. Nice
I
claymore and yeah, love it.
think that acts, but yeah, I think it's sideboard maybe.
Of course, it's an axe. There's an art. There's an axe in the art. Of course, there is. Sorry. There's me going in with a claymore, and he's like, yeah, axe, got to be in it. But yeah, yeah, it's got to be more two-handed. That would be awesome. I think what I like about this is that it's a couple of cards in this set as well are referencing the amount of hands that are used for the aforementioned weapon, which I think is going to be a nice little design space. I think because we haven't explored that yet. The amount of hands needed to attack with a weapon, I think, is a nice area that they're delving into. I don't know about anybody else.
Super flavor win there too, because like, can you really like blow up someone's armor with like a little little hatchet? No,
Exactly.
You gotta go swing big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, a Glock is pretty powerful.
Well,
Sawn
The
off
plan-
You think
shotgun.
we're getting
in
that
this
soon?
place.
Next
desert-
Flesh and Blood set.
Bust out a
Automatic
Desert Eagle and just be like, cool tectonic plating, loser.
Yes.
And then
Here we go. Clint Eastwood's secret lair. Right.
Are you feeling lucky, punk?
Everyone just hid from that comment there. Cool, nice. I love this next one, so shout out to DM Armada for this spoiler, and that's Blood on Her Hands, a Kasai specialization. So I'll be running a Kasai in the next Ultimate Pit fight that I'm doing with those guys. I'm going to be getting 2 of these. So 0 cost Kasai specialization, costs 3. Defense for 3. As additional cost to play it, you can destroy any number of copper you control, and for each copper destroyed this way, choose a mode. You may choose each mode twice, which is ridiculous. It has go again on it as well. And again, referencing the one-handed weapon attacks. Target one-handed weapon has +1 while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon has go again while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon may attack twice this turn. So that is like, it was described to me as a Lumina Ascension for Kasai, basically. Just if you got all these coppers, you cash them all in and just go absolutely ham on the opponent. And then there's just blood everywhere. So... yeah, absolutely love this card. Think it's fantastic. Does everything you need it to do. Really.
And the art is so cool.
yeah.
That is very cool.
I didn't notice either, like the pool of blood. You can actually see her reflection in the pool of blood. I didn't
Exactly.
notice that until literally just now looking at the card.
You're kidding me. That's like the focal point, man. It's beautiful.
all I saw was a text. I didn't even look at. I just look at the hands. I was like, it's just blood. I didn't even see the reflection.
Unfortunately for the Chinese censorship, that is gazpacho. It's not blood.
Yeah.
Gazpacho, tomato sauce everywhere.
Yeah, like does all the things that you want all of your other reactions to do in your deck, and it does it in one card.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely love it.
Fantastic. Great.
Chewing.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Great Kasai deck. Or card.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, you have another warrior action. That again, costs nothing. LSS loves nothing cost cards, don't they? So this one blocks for 3. Whenever you attack with a weapon this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. +1/+1. Sorry. I'm so sorry. +1 counter on it. At the beginning of your end phase, remove all +1 counters from weapons you control. So that's pretty good. That could go in Bolton as well, couldn't it? Oath of Steel.
Sure can.
Yep.
Yeah, Sabers Bolton. I think this a good little thing for it. I don't know.
Yeah, any dual wield warrior is happy to run this.
Absolutely.
I think.
yeah, it gets you to the Bolton reaction ability too, because everything's all buffed up already.
Everything's
so, yeah.
there already. Yeah. Loving
Yeah,
life.
it makes your Lumina turn like Uber Lumina turn.
Oh, yeah. Just see you later turn, more like. Next, we have a nice little play set of Slice and Dice, which I believe this is Bolton on the art, isn't it? Is it Bolton on the art? Some form of warrior. We've got a 0 cost warrior action, blocks for 3. And it says whenever you attack with a sword or dagger this turn, which is interesting because we don't actually have a dagger yet, do we?
That's right.
No, not
Not
yet.
for warrior.
Not yet, at least. So yeah, if it's your first weapon attack this turn, it gains +1. If it's your second weapon attack this turn, it gains +3 and go again. So again, just rewarding either your first attack, whether that's with Bolton, or rewarding your second attack, whether that's with Kasai or any other warrior that wants to attack multiple times. I think it's quite good for a nothing cost that blocks for 3 with go again. I think it's quite good.
Good card.
Why, with a name like Slice and Dice, wasn't this a KO card?
Yeah.
Missed
He
opportunity.
just slices. That's all. He just does one thing.
He slices or whiffs.
Yeah.
But this card is good. Slice and Dice is
Oh,
very
I
good.
absolutely love it.
Right? This is auto include, right? I don't see where unless you're running the weapon type that it doesn't use. I think this is a pretty good fit. If you swing multiple times, this is probably going in red and blue. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
No one plays yellows, but
Yeah. As you said there, as you said there as well, Pat. Sorry, I didn't mention that it does come in multiple pitch values, but yeah, it does exactly the same thing. It's just the second ability is scaled down depending on the pitch version. But yeah, it does stuff. I think I absolutely love it. Absolutely love
I'm
that.
just waiting for the nerf. The nerf to this card is going to be it's just going to be slice or dice.
Slice or dice.
Yeah. Sorry,
Errata.
it's
There's the
too
erratas
That'll
strong.
be part of the errata.
Yeah,
Too
here we
strong.
go.
It is now slice or dice.
Slice or dice. Brilliant. Choose one. Next, we have a sick named card after a fantastic film, Blade Runner, and the art in this as well is awesome. Again, referencing the hands needed to wield said weapon, which I think is very cool. So again, comes in all pitch values. You pay 1, blocks for 3, and it says your next one-handed weapon attack gains go again. So perfect for Kasai, Bolton, anyone that's wielding dual wielding things. And it just says your next weapon attack this turn gains +3, 2, or 1. So again, enabling just a load of different things there on that.
Card's killer. I'm
Yeah.
playing it in Doriax's.
Yeah.
It is a great addition.
What do you use it? Which versions do you use?
Red and blue.
Red and blue.
And then yellow in the sideboard.
Nice. Yeah.
What the fuck's going on in the art here? Like,
Yeah, the art is so out of
This
What
is-
the shit?
Mech Warrior.
Mech Warrior. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great game.
like-
1992, I think, or something. Mech Warrior.
It does. So some of this art in these supplemental sets, like between that and like the dude on Pulverize and who's been on what is it, Righteous Cleansing, the like Guardian there. There's just this. They have Bravo, and then they have like this vicious murderer who's walking around the supplemental sets, and now they got this cyberpunk warrior coming out. I hope they do something with it. I want to play with these.
It looks like
whoever
a-
that is.
They look
Looks
awesome.
like a deleted scene from Pacific Rim or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally. Another thing about the art as well. If you look at the art, I'll flash it up on screen for post-production purposes. Steam is coming out of the legs as well.
Hot and all that, and
And
all
the
that like
armor.
latex. You get steamy under that latex, man.
Yeah,
Look at
you
that.
do. Yeah, it's just it's a very, very sort of hot and steamy
It's
situation.
just the swass coming out.
What's coming out of where now? Sorry.
It's my swass exhaust.
The swass. Yeah.
Before you said it was your arse exhaust, I was like, what's going on there?
Same thing.
Yeah,
Different-
coming from the same
Different
place.
viscosity. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Viscosity. I've never heard that word before. Fantastic.
Flesh and blood and all the bodily fluids.
Oh, there we go.
Ah.
That's it. We're
Flesh
going there
Emphasis on
today.
flesh.
Ooh, lovely
All right.
job.
How do we go off the rails off this card? Out of all of them.
Because we're children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, but very strong cards. Loads of good tools for warriors here, and then we have a couple more. So in the swing again comes in multiple pitch values. Again, costs nothing. Blocks for 3. Play in the swing only if you've attacked 2 or more times with weapons this turn. So target attack gains +3, +2, or +1. So there's a few hoops to jump through there.
Yeah, this still works on the second swing as a reaction.
Yep.
Of it. I think this.
Oh, yeah.
And some of those other. I think what this set does is changes the decision making your opponent has to do on warriors. You know, Dorinthia can come in with with a minimal first attack with go again. They can let it through for 3, but now they have to risk a huge. Instead of like a front-loaded first attack, you're really worried about how much they can pile on the second attack, and it changes the math, right? And that's always a good thing. But this and these other ones really incentivize that second swing. So you're building your warriors to have kind of a balance there. So you can always I always equate warrior to the read option in American football. I don't know if the CFL has
We got 3 downs. We don't need your.
yeah. You just throw.
Get out of here.
But
We don't need your charity down.
The idea here is with the read option is whatever decision your opponent makes is the wrong one, right? So warrior kind of plays up to that, and this adds another dimension to that. So wherever their guess is to what you're going to do, this adds another angle, so you can punish whatever that decision is.
Nice.
That's what I like about that.
Working in the moment. I do like that. Pure psychological warfare.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly. Sweet. So next we have a very, very flavorful action for Kasai in Outland Skirmish. Again, 0 cost warrior action, so anyone can use this, but it does block for 3. And again, one-handed weapon attack. Your next one gains +3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value. And it says the next time an attack hits this turn, create a copper token and go again. And even has, again, a bit of foreshadowing, Volkai, Drakai, it's all the same to me, Kasai is saying on the flavor text. So are we going to Volkor next? We will see. But yeah, what do you think of this? I think it's definitely a slam dunk in Kasai decks.
Easily.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think friend of most of us, all of us, Ziggy, just posted a Kasai deck tech with some wonderful illustrations.
Yeah.
I believe this is in there. I will certainly be net decking the shit out of his build.
Oh
there.
man, he's such a good warrior player. I'll tell you that now.
He's super good. He's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's very good.
But I believe he runs both the red and the blue in there. I'd have to double check, but it's definitely right. It's Kasai build around. This does everything.
Yeah.
At the common level.
Absolutely.
Money and buffs.
Money and blood. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Love it. Cool. So that's the end of the warrior cards. Then we go on to mechanologist. So is there any mechanologists in here?
Not
Been known to
even a
dabble.
little bit.
Not really. Okay, we'll speed through these then. Disillusion Sphere. First of all, there's no equipment for mech in here, unfortunately. So this is a 2-cost item, so no block, nothing. Enters the arena with a steam counter on it. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy it unless you remove a steam counter from it. Whenever your hero will be dealt exactly 1 damage, prevent it. So I guess it's maybe nerfing...
Patsy sideboard?
Rune Chance.
I was thinking Rune Chance. That's where I was thinking. Like, this is a sideboard card against the Viserai matchup.
Yeah.
And if you can time it right, this is just as good as a Zen State token.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I equated to as Zen State, because I have shut down I've shut down a Viserai for 2 turns because you get to Zen State and I'm like, no, all of that stuff just means garbage, right?
Yeah.
Because so it's great because at the end of the line, I mean, even if you're at a bad position, dropping a Dissolution Sphere against those sort of massive rune chant stockpiles that they're going to be tossing at your face, at least it buys you 2 turns to sort of maybe make something happen. This is obviously you're going to run maybe, like, if Viserai is as popular as a lot of people might suspect it will be, and you want to be a hero and go mechanologist, then this is a 3 of in the sideboard for sure, because it's going to be a lifeline to give you a chance of perhaps winning that game.
Yeah,
one thing I do want to mention, though.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
An interesting technicality I did notice with Dissolution Sphere, though, and something that I think is going to make for some ridiculous judge calls. The text on Swarming Gloomveil, if we're thinking about like tech against Runeblade, Swarming Gloomveil reads, if you can make the 3 or more auras, that if this hits, your arcane damage can't be prevented this turn. And I think that would interact with Dissolution Sphere, where Dissolution Sphere is using the keyword prevent.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing to ruminate over, I guess. How does the judge ruling work there?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Also,
sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, so that exactly 1 damage comes in a lot more often than one might think, because if you have 4 attacks coming. Yeah, your break point is 4. So if you block, you can now single block a 4 attack card with this in play, because you'll prevent the extra 1 on there, kind of like a shield as well on there.
Yeah, Dissolution Sphere I think is potentially a decent addition for a lot of mech decks.
Yeah, well, it definitely has a place in the sideboard at least, especially if Viserai, as you say, is going to become popular, which I think he is, because he's the grandfather Runeblade. Now that we've had a load of nerfs going on with the Runeblades, everyone is calling upon the Art Knight to fulfill the void that we've had. So yeah, I love seeing Viserai get represented, and I can't wait to get to his cards. That's for sure. But yeah, this does nerf it a little bit, as you say. It buys you a turn because every arcane damage is a separate source, so you prevent everything, which is it can be crucial, as you said. Dash. Who cares about Dash? Shiana, apparently. So yeah, this is a 2-cost microprocessor. It's called Mechanologist Action Item for Dash or Data. Oh, no, sorry, I screwed up, didn't I? I said Dash.
It's okay. It's okay. Just
It's
keep
okay.
going. Roll with it.
Cheers. Rinse me.
No one even noticed.
I can take it. So this is a data doll specialization. Cost 2. Doesn't block for anything because it's an item. So data doll specialization. Once per turn action, you can pay nothing to opt one. You can pay nothing to draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck, or you can pay nothing to banish a top card of your deck. And if the first time you would activate microprocessor each turn, gain 1 action point. So yeah, there's a lot going on for it, I think, and I think Data Doll does benefit from this because obviously she's got a 3-card hand. She needs that selection of cards in hand to be able to actually do things. But I don't know whether this is going to make her playable or not in Blitz.
It gives her a nice way to build differently. So like you're ensuring that you'll always have a mech card on top with the manipulation that you have, so you can play other cards. Not that you may really want to, but it also gives her a little bit more of a better boost deck as well, because you can just boost all your items into boost all your items into play in that regard. So I mean, outside of that, like I still don't know how playable that will be, because like great, you have crap loads of items. Like, is that really going to win you the game?
No,
I don't think so.
No, probably not. But I think it's nice though. It's nice to see that all the crew heroes, or the old heroes, the old supplementary set heroes, are getting support in their own way, which is nice. So maybe we'll see some expansion on that in the future. Signal Jammer is the next item for Mechanologist. Costs nothing. Again, it's an item. Pitches for blue. Enters the arena with a Steam counter on it. And at the beginning of your action phase, you can destroy Signal Jammer unless you remove a Steam counter from it. So you do have to do that. And each hero can't play more than 1 non-attack action card each turn. So it seems to be like these items that we have for Mech is it can just tech against any hero by the looks of it. We got the prevent 1 damage. You can't play more than 1 non-attack action each turn. It just seems like they got silver bullets for little things now that are maybe troubling them in the past. I could be wrong.
I don't think Signal Jammer's as playable as Dissolution Sphere is, but
No.
this is, once again, I think this is Runeblade hate. This is going to shut down the most powerful of Viscera turns. You can't Mordred Tide into something now, or Gorganian Tome becomes useless on a turn cycle. But where Mech really struggles is Mech has to take turns off to, unless they can finagle these weird turns with high octane, gain an action point, spark a genius, draw a card. Like, Mech struggles to play these item cards out, and still have a turn. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how this one. I'm curious to see how playable this one will be. You could almost argue that the tempo loss isn't necessarily worth this one, depending what the meta's doing. But if in my opinion, if Viscera becomes this huge omen that people are predicting he could become, maybe I can see this getting played.
Yeah. Like I said,
Also
shutting down that Mordred Tide is horrible. Sorry.
No, it's early game pitch and then late game for like a heavy boost deck where like you're just trying to shut your opponent out of like doing anything except for attacks. But like this also just like wipes out Wizard or Kano, like
that's
any
true.
Wizard you're gonna have, because like they're just like, cool. I did one thing, and then you're like, great, that's cool. Can I go? So it's definitely it's powerful tech there, but like that's not a big menace right now, so not really a huge thing there.
So,
and
having silver
Kano's
bullets
more in Blitz anyway.
Yeah,
where you're not going to necessarily want to run Signal Jammer over cards that block.
No.
So that's interesting, though. I didn't. You're right that this could shut down Kano. Once again, the most powerful of turns.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you put this like one of in Blitz and Dash Blitz and play it out as your starting item against Kano?
Or you spark it up.
Go search for it, put it into play. See you later. Unlucky.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
Teklo Pounder. This sounds like a euphemism. So this is a two cost item. When it enters with 3 Steam counters, and when it has no Steam counters on it, obviously, to get rid of it. Once per turn effect, when you boost an attack action card. Remove a steam counter from it. If you do, the attack gains +2. So a nice little sort of incremental bit of damage for mechanologists. Is this cool? I don't know.
Sounds like the
Think.
number 3 at McDonald's is the Teclo Pounder.
Yeah, I'll have the Teclo Pounder, please. Yep, lovely old job.
My,
Extra bacon, cheese, all sorts.
That's my mechanologist, submission for the day. That is all I can do for this entire class that I have never played.
I
So
was waiting for it. I love it. Nice. I'd order one of those though. So Teclo Pounder, you heard it here first. I'll have one of them.
Was my nickname in high school.
Was it? Oh,
Sorry.
Teclo
It's kind of
Pounder.
expensive. It can be good if you are like you're getting some of the on-hit effects from mech. You can have like you just have to time it. Those are the first ones you actually attack with, and that's the downside. Like yeah, it's nice to get like a like on-hit effect and then gain dominate or something like that, but it has to be the first one, and like people have a handful of cards at that point, so it's less likely to actually hit in.
Yeah.
So I don't love it.
Yeah.
It's a
Cool.
win more. That's all it is.
Yeah.
If you can get it for free in Data Doll, I guess. But
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I could see this getting played in Data Doll.
Nice.
What
Maybe
about
in
Data
the
Doll?
Boost Aggro Data Doll.
Data or data? What is it? Which one is it?
cultural differences.
Yeah. I say
Yes.
data as well. Data and data. Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Data Doll. Yeah, that's
Which is the character in The Goonies is the real question.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. Yep.
There's a Star Trek character called Data as well. And they call him
Absolutely.
Data.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Data. Yes.
Data. Yeah, maybe I should just start talking in this accent. No, I shouldn't do that. Right,
Oh,
so
that was so weird.
He
Feel so
left.
uncomfortable.
Some American just came in.
I don't know what happened there. Oh wait, shit. Sorry. Right. So next we have T-Bone. This also sounds like Pat's surname in school.
Beat me to it. Excellent.
Love a good T-Bone.
The alternate nickname.
Yeah.
Oh,
So this is an interesting one because it says 0 cost, attacks for 3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value. And it says if you control a card on the combat chain that was boosted, the defending hero must defend T-Bone with an equipment they control if able, and it has boost itself. So that's interesting, having to force an equipment block from the opponent, which is quite nice. It can't be the one that you choose, but they have to block with something, which is quite cool.
If only Shatter was a mechanologist card, right? Like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
this combo would be ridiculous, but it's not the case, unfortunately.
But
Unless
still,
we
this
get
is
Mech Warrior.
This is fantastic. I mean, like Magnetic Shockwave was like okay, but like you'd have to like that was like later in the turn. You'd have to break the chain to like use your heart as well to like get the resources for it. And then it would be kind of crap. But
Yeah.
these are great. You just string them together. You're forcing blocks on all their equipment, or a good amount of their equipment. Like they don't want to. They're committed to the chain because the boosting doesn't break, so you can just make them block with multiple ones. So it's I like it.
Yeah. It's
I
forcing.
think T-Bone.
Sorry.
I think T-Bone is low key one of the best cards in the set here. I think
Yeah.
this could push Dash up. I think boost mid range. I don't know if I think boost aggro burns through too quick as is right now. But I think this makes boost more viable and it makes Dash much more dangerous because if you can play these early and take out their equipment out of the equation completely, your late game becomes so much better.
Yeah.
Right? You're taking those. You know, we talk all the time about how important armor is to your blocking and the timing of that. And when you take that completely out, then you're really setting them up to knock them out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Dash use this to great effect in the new meta.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think this is an auto include for Dash.
Yeah. It's just giving the opponent something to think about that they've never had to think about before. It's just like, I have to block with my equipment. There's nothing I can do. I have to. And I think that's a nice decision to be throwing in there for the mechanologist, definitely. Cool. Next we have Payload. So this is a attack that attacks for 6, 5, or 4, depending on the pitch value. Blocks for 3. Costs 2. If you've boosted this combat chain, it gains Dominate. So it's just a Dominate, and it's just basically a dominated card for dash, because obviously you would have boosted this turn. So what do we reckon for that?
A little too expensive. I don't think it's gonna
No.
be a great late game. Like late game, I guess if you want to try to punch in for some damage, but otherwise, two resources kind of kills things on dash.
Cool spot, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Next is zoom in. So this costs 2, and obviously attacks for 5, 4, or 3, depending on the pitch value. Blocks for 3. When you attack with it, you opt X, where X is number of times you've boosted this combat chain, and then you boost itself. So you get a bit of top deck manipulation with this, depending on how many times you've boosted. So that could be good, I guess. But it costs 2 for 5 attack at max. I don't know. Maybe in Data
2 for 5 is expensive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Data Dollar,
Now,
you might be able to get your set your later part of the turn up, but you're already at the late part of your turn because you want to opt a lot. So it's kind of not great.
Yeah, it's a weird ability to have on it. I don't think you need it. I don't think you want to play it.
No.
Art's cool though.
Yeah, it does look
really
nice.
cool.
Very cyberpunky, which is what I like. Cool. And then that last one in here, the common set, is Rotary Ram. Again, these could be any of Pat's sort of, previous sort of.
First of all, they were all.
They were all. This is it. In the art as well, you can see it as well. It's just this huge thing that just, right, so this blocks for 3. Costs nothing to play. It says the next Mechanologist attack card you play this turn gains +3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value. And if you've boosted this turn, put it on the bottom of your deck. So maybe just a fatiguer, but nothing.
Someone who doesn't play Dash, I'm interested in it, but I don't know if it's good. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a fatigue strategy because you don't boost if you're trying to fatigue. So it's really I don't even.
Well, thanks for correcting me there. I know nothing.
No,
So.
no, I don't like it.
Yeah, nice. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we have for Dash and Mechanologist in general. So next we have on the list, we have Merchant. So this was an interesting inclusion because everyone that pulls a Legendary is just like, for fuck's sake, why am I getting this Silver Palms? Why? Why could it just not be something else? So yeah, we're going to speed through this. Although, saying that, Bill from Spike Feeders is playing this on the next Ultimate Pit Fight video. So shout out to him and his bravery from playing this character. So this is a young hero. Why is it a young hero?
He looks very young.
Yeah, 20 life, obviously 4 intellect. Once per turn action, you can pay 2 or a yellow card. Each other hero may put a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck, and if they do, they draw a card and you create a silver token. If you gain no silver this way, draw a card, go again. So what is this? Is this alluding to something in the future? Maybe a product that we're getting, or maybe a focus on multiplayer or casual formats? What do we think with this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I think with Genus and some of the merchant stuff and
Sorry,
some of the
what did you say there? Genus. Oh, right.
Genus?
Yep.
Genus? I don't know. What are we at? Is that where we're at?
The Gina.
Where I'm at.
It's Gina. What's up?
Hey.
What you need? The Steve Buscemi of young heroes.
What you need.
What you need. Sorry, carry on.
I do think that there's I think with this hero you can build a deck that's a cute do nothing kind of Simic value, draw cards and do stuff, but not win the game deck out of some of these cards. What good that is, I don't know. But
yeah,
there's something clever.
At some point, we're going to get
cards.
some card that reads, if you control 20 silver tokens, win the game, or something like that. I don't know.
Revel in Riches. Yeah,
that's right there.
MTG equivalent.
Which is another stupid Simic value thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be some sort of weird win condition that you get from being all of the money situation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, let's not spend too much time on it. So yeah, Silver Palms is the equipment for the aforementioned Merchant Hero. Blocks for 2. Blade breaks. If you block Vit, gets destroyed. And at the start of each hero's turn, if they have less life than you may draw a card. And if they do, you create a silver token. Yeah.
Great in the merchant deck.
Just great in the merchant deck.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Just for fun.
Must have for merchant for sure.
Yeah, right.
Must have.
Auto include.
The first merchant card we've had printed outside of the actual merchant hero themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kind of a cool little...
This are like Iron Rot gauntlets, so
Yeah, or the Iron Rot. There's obviously a merchant card. You'd run that in there.
I had a local person at the shop. They opened 2 cases in 1 box, and they opened 5 of these.
5
Oh,
of these
no.
silver ones. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
ridiculous.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
That's
we'll
not
move
bad.
on from that. It's it's going to see some play in casual formats, and whatever we might get for that side of things. But we will see where that goes. Next, we can move on to Ranger. Yes,
Take it away.
take it away now, take it away.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna skip right ahead.
We'll just skip this.
I
bit,
mean,
yeah.
Runeblades next.
Ranger exists. Next.
Right.
Ranger exists.
Lexi doesn't get better. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Starting with Redstone Rogue spoiler card, Dreadbore. This is an archetype defining card. So once per turn action, you can pay a resource. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal zone you control. Again, that's key because obviously it works with the New Horizon. If you do, it gains +1 to the end of turn and go again, which is pretty good. And then arrows you control have defense reactions, can't be played from hand. This chain link. So this is brilliant because this is just defining an aspect of Ranger, which is just build all of these things up and then just shoot a massive arrow at them, which, if it hits, does some horrible things, which I think is what Ranger wants to do thematically. As the fact that she is, or supposed to be, based in the pits, she's an assassin, she's contract hire assassin. She doesn't want people to, the opponent does not want to get hit by Azalea's cards. And rightly so. So I think this is a great thing to have, although I don't know whether it's going to be a sideboard option or whether it's going to be the main option. It just depends on where you want to go with it. But I don't think anybody else wants to use it apart from the Go Tall Rangers. I don't think the Go Wide Rangers want to use it. I think it is just the Go Tall Rangers. But yeah, I absolutely love this card because it just cares about, I'm going to fire this massive thing at you. You have to deal with it. If it hits, it's going to have some horrible effects. And I'm all for that as well, because obviously Ranger wants to hit them, and I think that's the whole marksman theme aspect of finding the right hit. I think is the way to go, and making Rangers hard to block, I think, could be the way to go thematically. So I like the way they've done this, for saying that the defense reactions can't be played from hand. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think it's very, very good.
Agreed. I
Yeah.
think it opens up a whole new archetype of Ranger, which is important.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that. Then we've got Battering Bolt. So the only arrow that can destroy Prism's heralds. So this is a 2-cost arrow that attacks for 6, blocks for 3. Obviously, can only be played if you have a bow. And when it hits a hero, they reveal their hand. Again, another on-hit effect. They reveal their hand and discard all cards other than action cards, and they lose 1 life for each card discarded this way. So yeah, this is horrible if it's hitting instants and defense reactions and attack reactions. It's just, I don't know whether you'd run a lot of these in the deck, but you can definitely. It's another piece of like the aforementioned Mechanologist cards have pieces of tech that they can just use if needed. You can leave this in there if you're dealing with someone that cares about the non-attack action card, or the action cards. Not action cards. Sorry.
It's great against Warrior.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that
So
uses a lot of
attack
reactions. And again, feeding into the Dreadbore, defense reactions can't be played. If this hits them, they then have to discard all of their reactions. So again, just feeding into that theme of honing in for the shot that is just going to debilitate your opponent, I think, is the way they should be looking at Ranger going forward, especially with Azalea or just a generic Ranger. We'll see what happens when we go to the pits, because obviously we'll go there eventually. But yeah, Battering Bolt. I'm just talking now, aren't I? Because this is Ranger.
Good.
I'm just going in on
Good.
it.
Main event. Let's do it. Come on.
It's you, man.
Rock and roll.
Let's go for it.
Here, as tri-shot. You may activate target bow you control 2 additional times this turn.
I don't care
What are
about
your
this one.
No?
No. So I think with the aforementioned cards, I think it's just about stacking loads of cards into one arrow and then shooting it. So activating your bow multiple times is maybe something that Lexi wants to do when she's trying to go wide with multiple things. But I think the ranger that I like to play is go wide, shoot a big horrible thing that the opponent has to deal with, and hoping that it hits. I'm not sure if the try shot, although Azalea's on the art, as you can see, I don't know what place that's going to have in the archetype that I want to build personally. But maybe there's someone out there that loves this.
I've had my ass handed to me several times by a Lightning Lexi deck that's like the snapshot combo, and like having another round of that, it's just fucking disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So any more stuff in Lightning Lexi for that is just going to be horrible.
Does this help Azalea Death Dealer build being able to do the same thing, or the limited lower ceiling?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I just don't like. Even as much as I like Dreadbore, I like to use Red Liner because of the fact it puts an arrow card into your arsenal for nothing, and then you can fire off those horrible Red Liner strategies and the take aims and obviously the other stuff that comes up later, which is 0 cost. So I'm still torn on whether Dreadbore is going to be the main thing. But yeah. Try shot. Yeah, I don't think I would want to use that personally as a go tall ranger, but I can see the appeal for Lexi and what have you because that's vile. Snapshot's just infinite horribleness. Next we have Rain Razors. So this costs 0. It's an instant as well, which is nice. So you can just play this once you've attacked, which is quite good. Arrows you have. +2.
Yeah, there it goes.
I got there in the end. +2 while attacking this turn, which I think is, again, very good in those go wide strategies for Ranger, but maybe not so much for the go tall. But I think, yeah, going wide could be a very, very powerful thing for nothing, giving all of your attacks +2. If you can get 3 of a kind going off on all of these arrows, it's just going to be a horrible time for the opponent, I think, with Rain Razors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
A little scary.
Then we got release attention. We had increased attention in Crucible of War, so it's nice to release every now and again. You want to increase it every now and again, but sometimes you want to release, which is nice. And the art really...
Love a good release.
Yeah, I love a good release, don't we? And the art really does personify that in this card as well. So yeah, another 0 cost. Blocks for 2. And it says, your next arrow attack this turn gains +3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value. And it says, defense reactions can't be played from Arsenal, this chain link. So this actually combos with the Dreadbore, obviously, to make sure that no defense reactions can be played at all that turn. Plus the buff, plus the on-hit effect of the arrow that you're shooting. Just horrible if you're going to get hit by it. So again, archetype in a nutshell there.
You might actually hit someone.
Exactly.
Right?
You might actually hit.
Yeah. Is this going in? Does this go in?
This is going straight into my arse.
All right.
So absolutely.
Nice.
So we got that, which is good. I still think we need. I did this on a previous video. A card that evades armor. So that's the next thing we need is a card that evades armor. An archer can do this because they're firing for to the cracks in the armor, like Legolas in Lord of the Rings. He's going for those cracks. We need that card to complete this suite of Ranger cards that is obviously being defined in these cards that I'm going through now at hyper speed, I might add. I think the next set of cards is probably one of my favourites in the set for Ranger, and that's Fatigue Shot. So this is really, really interesting because it can just nerf an entire massive attack next turn, which is quite nice. So pitches for 1, 2, or 3. So you got your full suite there. Cost 1, attacks for 5, 4, or 3, and it just says if it hits, the base power of the first attack they play next turn is halved, rounded up. So a Pulverize becomes a 7 attack if you hit with this. So if you can time it correctly. If you see that a Guardian player's got a card in the arsenal, they've got all these Seismic Surge tokens building up, you can fire this at them, and then suddenly, fuck, right, that's gonna half my power next turn, which I think is just a nice thing, because we haven't had that yet. We haven't had the metric of saying, right, this thing is halved. We haven't had that yet in the game. So again, I think that's another interesting thing to be thrown in there, is the half this power. Or it's only going to be a matter of time before we see double the damage dealt by such and such, which could be another good ranger thing, because if you're getting hit by a ranger, you're going to die because you've been hit in the headshot. Double that damage, you know.
Now, is a half of 14 to 7? I mean, 7's still a big attack, man.
It's still a
Right?
big attack, but
Yeah.
It's definitely
Easier to
not
block.
the 14 you were banking on.
True.
No. You can still basically
Yeah,
what you
all
can
right,
do.
This is going to be great.
What you can do there, right? What you can do is you can play a take cover for nothing, and what you can do is you can reload a pitfall trap into your arsenal, and then you can then defend with that pitfall trap and cause them 2 damage, and then block the pulverize. So that's just a jank line of play that I absolutely love. Reloading traps into the arsenal and defense reaction step is very niche but awesome for jank players out there. And then we have finally, we got two more cards in this section. We got Timidity Point. So again, just an interesting on-hit effect here. So it's a 1 for 5, 4, or 3, depending on the pitch value. And if it hits, attacks the hero that you've hit can't gain Dominate during the next turn. So again, it's protecting you from a massive attack, which I think is quite good. So obviously both of these cards in the common slot are protecting you on the hit effect of a huge attack that's coming in at you. So if you can read that, I think both of these cards could be quite good. But again, yeah, just
Very situational though.
very situational.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. So if you're playing, heroes that have Dominate, you might put this in there for the on-hit effect that you can get through potentially. But finally, the last one I like in Ranger is this one, Read the Glide Path. This is basically built for Azalea. It's a shame it doesn't have reload on it as well, but that would be asking too much. So this is 0 cost Ranger action. It says your next arrow attack gains +3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value, and you opt 1 and go again. So you're basically making your next arrow attack massive or slightly buffed, which obviously can give you a load of different things, depending on what arrow you're using, like bolt and shots and what have you. And you opt, which is good for Azalea, because you can see what cards on the top, and then you can choose, right, after this, I'm going to activate Azalea, give this arrow Dominate, it gets the buff, and then I'm going to shoot it. So I think for Azalea, that's very, very good. But yeah, so I'll be probably replacing the Whisper of the Oracles with this, maybe, because you don't want to opt more than 1, I don't think, with Azalea, because you've got other ways to change that. But what do I know? I'm just spitballing here. This has been all me in this Ranger, because nobody cares.
Is
Yeah.
that another American accent?
Oh, it was.
Right.
It was. Yeah. I watched a lot of films when I was a kid, and they're all American, obviously, because that's where the film industry is. So that's where I get that from. So yeah. A couple of cool tools in there, and yeah, it's building towards that archetype of I want to build a massive arrow and I want to hit you with this arrow to deal lots of horrible, debilitating effects, depending on what sideboard I'm using against the hero that's facing me, basically. So lots of cool things. Don't know whether it's going to escalate Azalea to that to a good tier. We will see. Obviously, it's going to shake up some stuff nonetheless. But next we have Runeblade. Who loves Runeblade?
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
Fatigue
know.
More
with it.
support, so
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. So I'll do like this. I'll do like this first equipment because it just spews out rune chants. I love a good rune chant. So this is Vexing Quillhand. Doesn't block for anything. It can Arcane Barrier one thing, but you can use an action point to destroy it and create 2 rune chant tokens and go again. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is really nice for like the OTK versions that you're really trying to ramp up fast. It's not grasp, it's free, and it's 2 anytime, like without any cost. So like it can really be like a faster 1 turn faster maybe.
Yeah.
When you're trying to speed up and hit that critical mass of rune chants.
Yeah, 2 for 1 with go again is pretty nice. I think I would love to use that, and it's a lot more accessible than the grasp. I know it doesn't block for anything, but if you're going down the rune chant strategy, having 2 on this and the go again afterwards, I think is good for that rune chant build. I think rather than just running it for the armor, you're running it for the rune chants instead, which I think is the good thing about it.
What's in particular can really push hard.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Vexing Quill hand. Next we have Runic Reclamation. So this costs 3. It's a majestic. It attacks for 7, blocks for 3, and then when it hits a hero, destroy target aura they control. And if you do, you create a rune chant token. So what's that for?
Yeah, Prism Tech. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
you could pop a
7
herald.
attack.
Pop
Yeah.
a herald attack. It forces blocks that might be a little awkward, perhaps. But I mean, if you're attacking through them anyways, they might have some spectral shields, so you might not even hit the hero.
Yeah.
It's toss it in there. Why not?
Toss
Shake
it in
it
there,
up.
why not? Yeah,
It's
exactly.
doing double duty.
Double duty.
Yeah.
Big attack for Runeblade too. They don't really get a lot of large attacks, anyways.
No, it's mainly sort of hybrid attacks, isn't it, from different angles. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Becomes more relevant with some of the new Guardian cards too.
Yeah.
So, just another threat. You're probably keeping this at least in the sideboard of most. Definitely Viscera, but I think you're looking at most of the Rune Blades at least in the sideboard with this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. And as you mentioned earlier, I think it was Adam who mentioned Swarming Gloomveil. So this is a 0 cost, 3 attack, blocks for 3, and it just has a load of text on there. So if you've played or created 1 or more auras this turn, it gains go again. So basically always going to be a 3 attack with go again if you created rune chants. If you have played and or created 2 or more auras, it gains +1. So you could do that with a Vexing Quill hand, potentially, give it 4 with go again. And if you've played and or created 3 or more, it says when this hits a hero, they can't prevent arcane damage from sources you control this turn. Now that's vile. That's a finisher.
But it's only a 4 attack.
Feels
It's a
like a
4
trap.
attack that if you can get all 3 conditions on this, though, it's an attack that's guaranteed to draw cards out of your opponent's hand, which then gives them less resources to block with or less resources to attack with later in the turn.
Yeah.
I like this card in Runeblade. I think this is a powerful card.
I think it goes. Go ahead.
It's got amazing potential. Like you can set up and then like have like you're dropping 3 rune chance when you're throwing this in for 4 damage, which is great, right? But then like you have to rebuild afterwards, and I get that, but it's just so easy to defend out a 4 power card like with a card from hand and then 1 piece of equipment. Like it's just I love it. Like when I first saw it, I was super excited about it because like you can even like pop like Sonata afterwards to like build stuff up, pop Sonata later to keep the turn going later even faster to try to get more like rune chance, and I just don't see it having a potential unless you can really force people not to be able to block.
Yeah, I think that's what it is doing though, isn't it? It's forcing a block because it's only a 4 damage attack, but it is forcing a block because once those arcane. Well, actually no. So when you attack with this, all of your stuff then pops off, doesn't it?
That's the problem.
Yeah, but if you do, so this doesn't let OTK Viscera like go off unblockable, right? So your rune chance would pop before this would attack, so you don't get that kind of benefit off of it. But 0 cost 4 attack with go again that's built around the natural things that Runeblade does has proven to be good in the past, and I think you can do this other than OTK Viscera. I think if you're going that tempo aggro vis, or Chain or Briar, I think this fits. I think this is going in. Anybody who's all you're doing, you're changing up when you're pitching to grasp to create the rune chant, and instead of this potentially comes in instead of the Rosetta Thorn sometimes, depending on what you got going on beforehand. But definitely think it goes in, and it's a block 3.
Yes.
So it's always relevant.
All relevant. Especially with the next card.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's Revel in Runeblood. Shout out to Dead Summer for this. So this is 0 cost Runeblade action, blocks for 2, and it says if you've played an attack action card and another non-attack action card this turn, you get 4 rune chant tokens, which is great for nothing and a go again. And at the beginning of your end phase, destroy all rune chants you control. So yeah, just spewing out the rune chants here.
Like this,
This
so,
card
like,
pushes a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is also like it does pair with the gloom, the gloom, swarming gloom veil. Like if you like Mordred Tide, pop your gloves, come in. Let's say they don't block, you can then throw this down. You're going to be up to 5 or 7 now, 7 rune chance or 8 rune chance. Like it's explosive because it's a single free card for 4. So
Yeah, yeah, that's vile. Absolutely love it. Anything that spews rune chants out for nothing and has go again afterwards, I absolutely love, because one of my favorite things is just giving read the runes go again, because it just gives you a load of rune chants for nothing, and then you can go again. But it's just obviously hard to do without the Mage Master boots and what have you. But what I love about the next card on this list, and it's obviously a 3 of, is Runeblood Incantation. So it's basically a read the runes just over a longer period of time. So yeah, it does cost 1 actually. So I lie. So it costs 1, blocks for 2, has go again on it. But then it says enters the arena with 3 verse counters on it, or 2 or 1, depending on the pitch value. At the beginning of your action phase, remove a verse counter from it, and if you do, create a rune chant token, otherwise destroy it. Yeah, I do love this incremental. At the start of your turn, you get these auras, which then feed into the aforementioned cards like the Gloom Veil and what have you. But I do like this. Because it has go again on it as well. So if you want to do something afterwards to trigger another Viscerai trigger, you again get that as well. So it opens up a lot more things, but then still gives you the incremental runes over time, which is what I like. Rather than just having to end your turn on a read the runes is always a bit bad.
Not in love with this card.
Yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
I've been told it performs well, but I'll
Mm.
believe it when I see it. You know?
Well,
it's
we
nice
read
that
that.
it
I mean, the
spreads
fact-
out.
It's a guaranteed rune chant at the start of your turn, which sometimes can be the difference between being able to start your turn or not.
Yeah.
And that alone, I think, makes it pretty powerful in Runeblade. The fact that it's a good card. It's not an amazing card. It does what it needs to do, and that's, I guess, good enough for Runeblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cost reduction on some cards via Runeblade, or Rune Chance is nice, and it's also like there's some things that trigger. Oh, if you've created an aura, so like it's a free way to do that at the start of your turn. So there is upside there as well.
Yeah,
Powers Gloom, Storming Gloom Veil, for sure.
Yeah, I think if you're focused more on the rune chants, this is okay. But another non-attack action could potentially provide more overall damage depending on what you're playing. So I think you just gotta be careful of where you're putting it in.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's Runeblood Incantation. It's only Viscerai, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's nowhere else this wants to go apart from in the Arc Knight.
That's true.
Yeah.
Viscerai is where I see this slotting in for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Sweet. So next we got Drowning Mire. Again, comes in all pitch values. Attacks for 4, 5, or 3, depending on the value. Blocks for 3, costs 2. If you have played or created an aura this turn, it gains Dominate. Okay. And then if it hits, you may put a non-attack action card from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. Do we care?
It's not efficient enough for
No.
any
Yeah,
kind of
if it
Runeblade
was
action.
cheaper, Recursion's always good, but I don't know if this is impactful enough.
No.
At the cost.
Definitely not.
If this was a 4 attack for 0, I might consider it.
Then
yeah.
we would love it, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Nice. Reek of Corruption. So this is attack for 4, 3, or 2, depending on the pitch value. Costs 2. Blocks for 3. If you've played or created an aura this turn, Reek of Corruption gains. When this hits a hero, they discard a card.
I don't like
the
it.
same thing
Yeah.
as for the previous
It's consuming volition without the conditional
Without the
clause
condition. Yeah.
Yeah.
for an extra resource.
Yeah, for 1 more,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
I'd
it's just
still
not-
rather consuming volition if I was going to run either one of them.
Yeah. So it's basically a 2 cost 6 attack though, because it obviously forces them to discard a card if it hits.
That's a good point.
It's
And it
But, yeah,
forces
still-
either a card in equipment or 2 cards out of hand to block it. So
Yeah. Not optimal, is it?
no.
No. Cool. Moving on then. Shrill of Skullform. I love the art on this. I don't know whether this is impactful or not. So a 2 cost for a 4 attack, 3 attack, or 2 attack, but the text basically means it's going to be the buffed version because you should have done this if you're running it, right? So if you've created an aura this turn, like from the aforementioned Runeblood thing where you get it every single turn, the highest version of this is a 2 for 7 or a 2 for 6, which then pops all of your rune chants that you've played beforehand. So is this good or not? Probably not.
Not bad.
Just spitballing.
Not
aren't
good.
I?
I'm not certain.
I'm
In the
I
right
think
deck,
there's-
this is very powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's room somewhere for it. But
There's
this
room
is
somewhere
one of
for
those,
it. Love it. That's good.
This is one of this is one of those things where if Fabrec fires off in later this year, then you're going to see this on the lower part of the most used cards in Runeblade, and someone's going to be like, "This is spicy."
Yeah.
But if you go up against this and it's a 7, it comes in for 7, blocks for 3. People are, it wakes people up. So,
Commoner All-Star, I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yes. Commoner All-Star. Perfect.
Nice. Cool. That's it for Runeblade, apart from a rune chant token, but we've already seen that before. So next we have Icelander, which is interesting because I thought we'd see more ice cards as a result of this reveal early on, but we didn't.
Same.
It's a bit of a shame in that regard because we didn't get anything new for this. So everything that was already being brewed for this just still remained the same. So yeah, we've got a wizard hero, elemental, young, 18 life, obviously. Well, not obviously because it's different than usual. So talking trash. Essence of Ice. So if it's not your turn, you may play non-attack action cards with blue card strips from your arsenal as though they were an instant. We've seen a lot of videos on this already with regards to what can be used with this, what effects they will have. And it says, obviously, whenever you play an ice card during an opponent's turn, create a frostbite token under their control. So maybe just more of a control build for a wizard rather than just racing them for the damage.
Or and more lame would be an item heavy because most of the items are all blue, so all the potions are like blue for the most part. So you could just be spewing out really bad cards for no value.
I hate it.
Oh, love it.
You're selling it.
Yeah.
Blue item.
Let me
tribal.
pitch you this. Infinitely worse than anything you've thought of.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing? This is bad. This is even worse. I still don't know how to play wizard. This scares me like learning a new language, and
yeah, it's very
It's
strange,
a foreshadow for things to come.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There's some fun things you can do with her, but
I think they've that's I mean there's some fun things you can do, but I think they've already been explored, haven't they? They've already been covered already, I think. So yeah, that's Icelander. Then we've got the Kraken's Aether Vein. So this is a 2-handed staff. Once per turn instant, you can pay 3, so a blue card. Deal 1 arcane damage to an opposing hero. Draw a card for each arcane damage dealt this way. So the interesting text is draw a card for each arcane damage dealt this way. So can you buff the staff or the arcane damage dealt?
You
here?
cannot currently. I've looked into this extensively.
Yeah.
None of the current cards or none of the current buffs for wizards see the staff. They'll only see an attack or an action card.
Right.
But yeah, at some point we're going to get a buff for this, and then this is going to become a very interesting weapon. Until that point, this is probably only being played by Icelander and probably only as a tempo tool.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can activate this once per turn allows you to do it on your opponent's turn. So you can, in theory, force 2 cards out of their hand, and that way maybe reduce the amount of pressure they can apply on their turn.
Yeah.
But beyond that, this is not going to get played in Kano. Kano can do far better things than this, unfortunately.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps filter the amount because you might be playing more blues in Icelander. So this is a way to like, cool, I have too many. I'm going to filter them out. So at least you get to essentially cycle a blue for them getting hit and you getting a card back. So
nice.
If it hits.
If it hits, yeah.
Well, I mean, who wants to pay for 1? But
But that's the point, is the fact that it's threatening that draw is going to force a card out of your opponent's hand no matter what. Or not, I shouldn't say no matter what, but likely will.
I'm going to
Well,
pitch
it's
my red
interesting decision.
pulverize for this. Cool. So yeah, we'll move on quickly as possible because obviously we don't have many wizard players in here, do we?
I think I'm the only one.
You're the only one. Cool. So Sigil of Parapets. This is cost 1. Pitches for blue. Defends for 2. And while it's defending, whenever you play a wizard card, it gains +2.
This is the idea behind this is to maybe play on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Put in a defense reaction and then allow yourself to protect yourself from overextending yourself. That's one of the big traps a lot of wizards face, is that they will overextend themselves on their opponent's turn. This kind of gives you a little bit of insurance from that. But beyond that, I don't see, this is not an auto include for wizard. This is going to probably more get played in Icelander than it will in Kano once again.
Mhm.
We don't think this is like a nice like Guardian sideboard tech for like a Kano matchup. Like, cool, just throw this down and then do the things I was gonna do and block out your pulverize because I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because I can see this playing around Dominate, where you can slap it down out of hand and then do a bunch of things to make it more powerful, maybe. But I just, with the exception of Dominate, I'd rather, for my playstyle at least, I'd rather just block with cards from hand than do this and try to do a bunch of fluff. Is kind of how I see it. There's just more efficient cards you can include in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But you know what? It does. There's a lot of blue, like, because Kano does rely on blue counts. So I could see this maybe slotting in Kano where it's like, you know what? I can include this in my deck. At worst, it's a pitch, and at best, maybe I can use it sometimes. So yeah, you know what? Maybe. But I'm not. I wasn't excited on this card when I read it.
Cool.
The next one's good though.
Aether
Yes.
Wildfire. Sweet art on this one as well.
So
So yeah, pitches for 1, cost 2, blocks for 3, deal 4 arcane damage to target opposing hero, just straight up. And if it's played during an opponent's turn, until end of turn, action cards that deal arcane damage instead deal that much arcane damage plus X, where X is damage dealt by this card, or arcane wildfire. Aether Wildfire, sorry. So yeah, this is pretty good because it can obviously be pumped by other effects as well, which is nice, which then pumps all of the other effects, which is, yeah, pretty vile, I think.
So this card is interesting. It fits into Kano in the sense that I can probably cut Voltic Bolt from my deck, put this in instead. At worst, I'll get, for a 1 blue, I can have this deal 5 arcane damage on my turn, if that's what it has to do. But then at best, it can, mind you, at the cost of 2, Fork Lightning, like that, this probably won't get used with a Fork Lightning. This will get used with like a snapback turn or something like that. Like, I can flip this off the top, play this, have it, like, my opponent decides how much damage this will pump the rest of my turn by, and then I can snap back out of hand, out of arsenal. Like, if you're gonna get full value out of this, it's probably gonna be something like that, because this lends itself better to go wide wizard than go tall wizard. But I'm happy to include this in my deck, but I'm not expecting this to be anything huge, because I think its use is more narrow than I think a lot of people realize. I think a lot of people see this and go, "Oh, sweet, I can just do like 30 arcane damage on my opponent's turn." But the moving parts that you need to bring in line to effectuate that are going to be hard. So
yeah, I think Blazing Aether
be
is probably better
excited
for that if you want to just deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good, but it's not amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Next, we've got a unique one called Scour. So this is a blue pitch again. So blocks for 3, and it says pay X, destroy X target aura tokens and or auras with cost 0 controlled by target hero. Then deal arcane damage to that hero equals the number of auras destroyed this way. That's interesting. You could destroy auras and all sorts.
Yeah, this is the card I'm most excited on for Kano.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a blue pitch, it automatically slots into the Kano deck. It can cut. There's so many cards that this card can replace, and it makes your Viscerai and your Prison matchups a lot better. So it's still a weird one to use because the fact that it's an X cost to play, like, you need to be realistic with how much arcane damage you can hope to output with this. Because if you have to Kano this off the top, then you're already looking at 1 card wasted. And you've only got, if you can get this off the top first with the first Kano activation, you've maybe got 3 cards in hand to pump it. But it's still going to lend to some really weird play patterns. But the fact that we now have, Kano now has or all wizards have an ability to destroy certain, and I'm not even going to say all auras, but certain auras, because this doesn't deal with well, mind you, Arclight Sentinel, you don't care about Arclight Sentinel anyway because you can target around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spectral Shields and Rune Chants are what this is going to be destroying.
Yeah. And you deal damage for that as well, which is nice. So you get rid of it, get rid of the threat, and then just reverse it on them. So how do you like it? Tasty Fairy Medicine. Have it.
But I think that the trap with this card is not to think of this card as a damage dealer, but as a way to deal with auras.
Yeah.
Because this card can become very expensive if you're trying to deal damage with it.
That's true. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Nice to see that effect there. We haven't seen that before, which is nice. So that's all the Majestics for Wizard. Yeah, we'll just go through these other ones quickly then. So Emeritus Scolding, probably butchered the name there. Yellow, blue, and red pitchers, of course. Cost 2, blocks for 3, and it says deal 4, 3, or 2 arcane damage to target hero. And if it's played during the opponent's turn, instead deal 6, 5, or 4. So obviously it rewards you for playing it on your opponent's turn instead for massive damage, potentially arcane damage. So does that see play in anything, do you think?
I don't think so. I think this is a trap. You can maybe run the blue because you're happy to Kano this off the top. And there's a lot of time with blues where you go to Kano and you're like, oh crap, it's a blue. This card doesn't really do much for me. So I could see the blue comes in for 6 at 2.
Yeah.
That's okay. Or sorry, 4 at 2 off the top. That's better than a Voltic Bolt. But beyond that, the yellow and red are traps, I think.
Cool. Then we go into Pry, which is nice artwork. We haven't seen anything like this in Flesh and Blood at all yet, I don't think. Very, very interesting art. This is a wizard action for 0. It comes in all pitches. And it says, target opponent or target hero reveals 3, 2, or 1 cards from their hand. If it's played during an opponent's turn, instead they reveal all cards in their hand. And you may choose a card revealed this way, and if you do, that hero puts it on the bottom of their deck, and they draw a card. So you get rid of a problematic thing in their hand if you play it from their turn, which I guess can screw up their entire turn, which is quite nice.
One's good.
You have to do it right at the start of their turn, and you probably have to hope to Kano this. And beyond that, I guess the blue one can be played out of Arsenal by Icelander.
Yeah.
I don't see this card getting played though.
No. Cool.
Like Index, just get it out of there.
Just get it out of there. Nice. Next we have Pyroglyphic Protection. This is a Wizard Aura, actually. So this costs 2, and it says blocks for 2. If your hero will be dealt arcane damage, instead prevent 3, 2, or 1 arcane damage that source would deal. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy it.
I like the blue to stop Viscerai, and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. Sideboard.
As I think we're gonna lose Matt here in a couple of minutes. Do we want anything? We want him to wait for my father-in-law to get there.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
We've only got Illusionist and Generic left. So if you have any additions to that, Flake, we can go through those quickly because we're at the end of Wizard here.
Of anything that I particularly want to sort of like drop some love on, so to speak.
Yeah, go for it.
Of any particular one card, I mean, I think that Fractal Replication to me is most likely one of the hottest of all these cards. Just generally one of those situations of now you have it like it's a little bait and switch kind of thing of like, okay, and here it is again kind of thing. It's a card that's gonna play mind games a lot with certain opponents if this card is on the radar. It's a situation where your opponent's going to have to be aware that this is a situation where the big threat might come back to haunt you twice. It's pretty nasty. I'm certainly all about Fractal Replication. It's just okay. It's what a day for a ball game. Let's play 2 situation. So I love it. It just basically it's your best card again.
Fractal Replication makes Phantasmify so good.
Yes.
Because now you can,
Yeah.
if you
Phantasmify a Command and Conquer.
yeah, Phantasmify, Snatch, Phantasmify, E-Strike, Phantasmify, Command and Conquer, and then if they don't pop it or they block it, whatever, and Fractal Replication comes out, it's nuts. All your spicy chase generic Majestics are just so much better now when you can prism, prism them up.
Prismify.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing as well, isn't it? I think thematically, I think Prism might want to do the whole copying thing because she can make illusions of the things around her. So I think again, that's a good theme flavor win for Fractal Replication. So thanks for bringing that up, Flake, before you shoot off.
The one other card that I just really had thoughts on is even bigger than that because
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
Even bigger than that for me is a nice little bit. This to me feels like it's the cause to a degree of Plunder Run getting banned outright, and maybe not like 100% the cause, but it's one of those situations where okay, Plunder Run got axed, and maybe some people didn't see it coming, but it might have been a preemptive ban because some things like even bigger than that are maybe a little bit of a safer bet in terms of what could be played instead of it. It's I've played this in my Katsu list. It's a great option after one of the Kodachis hits. The timing of this has to be right. It takes a little finesse to get this right in terms of when to play it, but having this hit off and finding a great card off the top and then maybe hitting up with a Command and Conquer with Go Again is ridiculous. Or getting that Quicken token and not necessarily you'll be able to go E-Strike, draw a card, and get the free Go Again off of it, so you still have some fuel left to continue those punches. I think that even bigger than that is a great card. Blue, it could I played it with the blue pitch, so another more Kodachi fuel to just pitch. Kodachi, go crazy. Same with the yellow, same thing. Pitch, double Kodachi, and then go nuts with it. I think that this card is definitely an option. Unfortunately, Katsu might not be A tier anymore, but it's certainly something that is relevant and definitely playable.
You watch your mouth.
No. Sorry. Hey, I absolutely adore Katsu. It was what I learned first. It is what I played in multiple tournaments early on. And it's what my first investment into this game was, dropping, big money on Mask of Momentum and getting all the cards, right? So
I'm convinced that there's a code to be cracked in Katsu for this meta
that
will make it elite.
That's for you to figure out, isn't it? Go on, Pat.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
We believe in Pat. We trust.
In Pat,
yeah,
we trust.
that's a you problem. That's not an us problem. Yeah.
Trust me, I'm trying to convince a certain group of players of this exact thing. They don't believe me.
Oh, really?
So,
Ooh la la. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Well, cheers for popping on, Flake.
No worries. Sorry I couldn't stay longer, friends, but I do have a commitment that I cannot break. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out.
6 hours just talking.
It wouldn't have felt as bad. I did spend a couple hours earlier, like recording other stuff for Flesh and Blood. So it's not that I'm burnt out necessarily, but it's been a long day. But I do honestly have something in the next few minutes that I do have to go attend to. So
that's right.
Friends,
set reviews take a long time, don't they? So I underestimated that maybe, but yeah, that's cool.
It's all good. It was great, and you guys are awesome. I honestly, anytime that you guys have room for me to jump on, it's my privilege to be here. So thank you very much again.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
buddy.
God, that really did change the whole layout, right? Now it got so disoriented.
Yeah. Luckily, there's a post-production job on this, so don't worry about that.
The crowd will never notice Flake disappeared.
They'll never know.
Right, just cheap stand-in now.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'll just put him in there. I'll just put him in there.
Yeah, a picture of him.
Yeah. Eternalized Flake. Hashtag Eternalized Flake. So yeah, before he left, he spoke about a few cards that you wanted to speak about beforehand. But we'll just jump right back to the last wizard card that we were speaking about, and there's only one left, and that was Timekeeper's Whim. So this the art has been spoke about quite a lot on this one, because it's very, very abstract, so it looks really, really nice. So Adam, again, I'm looking at you for the wizard insights here, because you've been carrying this entire section, I might add.
This card doesn't. I can see if Kano becomes playable in CC, I see this being the card that helps protect him from fatigue.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like in Blitz, I don't think I want to run this. It's too expensive. Even the
3.
blue 3 arcane for 3, it's not enough. So maybe in CC the red. That's about it.
And like it's even like it's not the greatest fatigue strategy either, because like you're pushing this to the bottom of your deck, but they're also pitching to prevent it. So it's like it's not even like they're losing cards. So
yeah, I think if Kano and because I think with all the wizard stuff we've gotten, Kano is starting to become playable in CC. I think it's going to take a very specific build, a very specific mindset, and a very specific play pattern to allow Kano to be viable competitively in CC. But if Kano in CC is stuck in a position where somebody's trying to fatigue him, he's already probably lost the game. If he's trying to survive it with Timekeeper's Whim, it's not enough. Yeah, I guess that's also the takeaway is, as Kano, don't try to outplay fatigue. It's just not going to end well for you.
Wizard on the back foot is just not going anywhere, is he? Unfortunately.
I don't know. I'm like, I mean, we have a lot of Blitz stuff coming up, and I'm super happy to play Kano and Blitz. I think in CC though, we've got just better things to do still. Is the reality, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that was Wizard was short-lived there. So that's cool. So we'll move on to Illusionist now. Obviously, Flake has covered one of the best cards already. But this is a nice one, Crown of Reflection. And I believe Chalice, the cosplayer, is going to be doing this. I've seen the...
she's got it in the works right now.
She's got it in the works right now, yeah. So look forward to seeing that. It's a very, very interesting piece. It's going to be interesting to see how she pulls it off. So yeah, Crown of Reflection. So this is an Illusionist Equipment head for blocks for nothing. But it does have Arcane Barrier 1, so it can block for something. Instant ability, destroy target Illusionist aura you control. If you do, you may put an Illusionist aura from your hand into the arena with cost less than or equal to the aura destroyed this way. Activate Crown of Reflection only during your action phase. It's like a little pod almost, if you understand that reference, for sacking an aura and getting an aura from your hand into play. With cost less than or equal to. So it's just switching auras around, I guess, depending on what you want to do.
Illusionist trickery.
Yeah.
And that's what the illusionist does. They're constantly making illusions and moving things around, and thematically it's very appropriate.
Yeah. Instant speed as well.
I don't think this is enough to replace Halo though. Halo, the fact that you can just on a whim put a card in your soul, that's so powerful for Prism.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is enough to replace that.
Okay.
I think this is a card that will get better in time.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
This is one of those ones where there's a build out there that might not exist yet, but as the card pool grows for that build, this becomes more relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of my favorite art in the game too.
Oh god, yeah.
Super cool art. Yeah.
Like the only big thing we have for for this effect is like haze bending will trigger, which is kind of not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it'll we'll see it later. It basically you just get a spectral shield because something is destroyed. So not a huge.
So that's a card that's coming up in this set, is it? Sorry, haze bending. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a sec then. What was you going to say? Sorry.
If we could activate this outside of our action phase, this becomes infinitely more powerful. I would love to flash in like Mercifuls and Odes with this. But yeah, the fact that you can only do this on your action phase.
That's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing this really empowers is the ability to, with the new auras, which obviously we'll get to, they end your turn when you play them.
Mm-hmm.
So this allows you to cheese out one and still have your turn. I think that's probably where this would see play at this point.
Yeah. I misread it. I misread it earlier. I said, "Oh, it's an instant speed," but it says only activate during your action phase. So yeah, that changes everything. So that's a bit of a shame. But if we could do
Pseudo instant.
what we wanted to do there, that would have been sick. But obviously not, unfortunately.
There's been a few people that have done that.
Yeah.
It speaks to the. It's one of those things about the complexity of the game, right? It's
Yeah.
you get so many words and then such a tight restriction on those things. You can miss that a lot of times.
Reading the card explains the card. So maybe we should do more of that.
Sometimes you gotta read it 3 or 4 times.
So yeah, going down the list for the audience at home that are looking through the list at this point, fractal replication was explained by Flake just now before he left. So yeah, this is pretty good. Obviously, as we've just explored. So do we want to touch?
I have one caveat for this card.
Okay.
And that is with the block value.
Oh yeah.
This card is a trap in any aura build. This card's amazing when you can like go Herald of Erudition. They full block it. They've committed their equipment to the combat chain, and I can be like, sweet, fractal, and now force that on hit trigger. But there's so many times where you want this to be a block card, and you try to block with this card, and you can only block with this card if you blocked with another illusions. Yeah, so it would have to be a Herald. And this, it's. So it's there's a catch-22 on this card for sure, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
And there is he brings up a good point. I'm sure this has been discussed at length. You know, Adam and I and a lot of the other guys have kind of went back and forth when this card first came out about like how good is it, you know, but you know, this is one of those things where right when a Herald hits, it goes to soul. Right,
Yeah.
so it leaves the combat chain.
Yep.
The chain link remains. Right, so the rule is, it goes to soul. So it leaves the game and goes into soul. Your chain link remains for purposes of accounting for blocks and all that stuff. But fractal replication will not see a herald that has previously hit on that turn. So you can't turn your Herald of Erudition that hit. This doesn't turn into another Herald of Erudition. It will not see that. They have to. Your opponent has to block out and not pop Phantasm for this to work on your Heralds.
Yep.
So just throwing it out there in the universe. It's still being talked about. So you know. We've looked into it. We have rulings on it. It is on the release notes. If you look into the comprehensive rules about the nature of the soul in the game, which sounds way more philosophical.
The nature of the soul.
Is. Yeah. But Fractal looks at last known information, and so your heralds are gone, and it's not last known information at the time when this is played.
Yeah,
it's good with the next card though.
Yes, it is.
Look at that segue. That's a segue if I ever saw one.
I mean, it is really good with the next card.
That is a good one, yeah. So yeah, Miraging Metamorph costs 1, attacks for 7, blocks for 3. Phantasm, of course, and it says when Miraging Metamorph is destroyed, create a token as a copy of an aura you control. Oh yeah.
I think Prism really needed another 1 cost 7 attack.
Yeah, she loves it, doesn't she?
With good stuff on it.
This card, though, I'm very excited to run in my auras build as a late game clincher to kind of go, okay, now you have to make a choice. You either can take the damage or you can dance around this and give me another aura that punishes you anyway. So I think this is the best illusionist card we've gotten out of the set. Or at least close to. There's one other card I think that is in contention for this, but this is up there.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I do like this one.
Scary.
It is. It's scary that you're now getting consequences for like. So you're facing Prism. You're gonna side in your Phantasm poppers. And then you come up against this and potentially just ruin your whole day anyways for boarding incorrectly. So I'm not, in that sense, not a big fan of the card. I feel like this is an auto-clue. It's a no-brainer in most Prism decks. But like at facing Prism, I'm just going, fuck,
Yeah.
one, one, one more stupid friggin' thing I gotta think about, and
Yeah.
they just get another tempo advantage out of it, right? You're not doing nearly what you thought you were when you're defending her now.
Cool. So next we have Shimmers of Silver. So this comes in. This is a majestic one as well. So is this the same background as Levia is standing in?
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's a good
I
question.
like those kind of questions.
Yeah, because you can
It
see
is.
you
Is
can see
that-
the
is that
windows in the
the-
background, and I just thought, is this the same sort of area as Levia is in?
Mm,
Right? Is that the
oh,
monastery
maybe.
before it was corrupted?
Yeah. And
Or
who is
after it was
who is this
purged.
character?
Or is this an illusion taking place within the monastery or something like that?
Oh
Even.
my god.
Oh
There we
man.
go. There we go. All
Maybe
sorts
that's
of theories.
Levia.
Maybe that's. Oh yeah.
That-
before she was
Right.
corrupted by blasphemate or whatever you call it.
Is it the same? Is the girl in Fractal Replication the same girl in Shimmer here?
They both have white hair.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. No.
But yes, onto the cards. We have a 0-cost illusionist action aura, blocks for 2. Once per turn effect, whenever you attack with an illusionist aura weapon, put a +1 counter on it, and then it has Spectre on it as well. So obviously it can be attacked as an aura itself.
Seems good.
Seems pretty good.
I love this card.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize it was an M up until this moment. I thought it was because we get a cycle of auras in this set that are rares, and I thought this fit into the rare cycle. So I just now saw the M and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is such a powerful card.
Definitely.
Just makes your shields better, right? You can just keep
Yep.
stacking them up.
That's fine.
Just what
But-
Prism
and I-
needed. More buffs for its.
Now they're not Kadachis anymore.
Where
Yeah. Now they're pistols.
yeah, now they're pistols.
Oh, brilliant. Love it.
Now, one thing I think to notice with this card, because this card's an aura, and the cycle of auras that they printed in Everfest are different than the auras we've seen previously. They are a non-attack action rather than every aura up until this point being an instant. But it's 0-costed and defense for 2. And I think LSS actually nailed it with the balancing of the auras that they printed for this set, because of the fact that they're the 0-costed non-attack actions. They're very powerful, but they're not easy to play out. And I think that piece of balance was very necessary.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously not being instant speed, and the fact that they don't have go again on them, I think is the balancing act there, isn't it? For the effect that you're given. So yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair stuff what they're doing there.
And the fact that they're also not light cards, right? So you have
no.
Yes.
you have a couple restrictions that keep it from getting completely out of hand.
That's true. Yeah, to think about that. So they're just literally just
They
illusionist
don't.
ones. Yeah.
Right, no vestige.
And that, yeah, exactly, with Vestige, because that's such a powerful thing that all your blues, if you can trigger Vestige, pitch for 4 and allow you to play so many of Prism's cards at instant speeds. The fact that these don't interact with Vestige almost makes you question whether you should be running Tunic in Prism instead of Vestige, just because of the amount of light cards you lose to include these in your deck. So it's going to make for some really interesting building to include these cards.
Yeah. Lovely. So that was the Shimmers of Silver. Next we have a rare card, but it doesn't have a cycle. So this is one of the auras, as we mentioned, 0-cost auras. Again, can be targeted because it's Spectra, blocks for 2. And it says, once per turn effect, whenever Haze, Bending, or another illusionist non-token aura you control is destroyed, you get a Spectral Shield. So that's just recompensating anything that gets destroyed by giving you a shield, which is nice.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Go
Go ahead. I was just pointing. It's interesting. This is the only class that has that rare cycle. It's the only one with individual rare cards. So it has, depending on how you're building it, it is triple the rares, depending on how you want to build it. So I thought that was.
Well,
I didn't realize that until I was looking through it.
I think it's triple the rares though, because though you have a cycle of blues for each rare slot for the other classes, you have 3 different rares, like a red, a blue, and a yellow, whereas this is the only rare you have printed for illusionist. So this,
Right. So
I think, is
you're
a balance
committing
piece
to a
again.
blue pitch there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But you potentially have that. You do have that many more of these functioning cards. If you're doing an aura build of some sort in there.
Yeah, it's 3 different functions as compared to the rare cycle, which is the same
Yeah.
card printed for
Yeah.
the other heroes. That's a good point.
Yes, we had Haze Bending, Passing Mirage, and Pierce Reality, all of which are part of that sort of cycle where you get a rare card but only in blue pitch. So the next one is Passing Mirage, again a 0 aura, blocks for 2, and it says your first illusionist attack each turn loses and can't gain Phantasm. So that's pretty nice, like that.
Yeah, I think it's crazy, right? It's your
Yeah.
second through fourth Dreamweavers now. I think that's
And the
pretty
fact
good.
that this is recurrent, like
Yeah, each turn.
Dreamweavers
Yeah, right.
Dreamweavers is so limited.
This you gotta attack it to
You
get
got
it
to
off.
get rid of it. You have to pop that aura.
Yeah.
There's so many now. There's so many horrors that you actually want to pop, like between Genesis or
So
Ode or anything
many.
like that. So it's like, what do you do? So
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
God, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. It's a deterrent, isn't it? It's just like, don't want to bring this up, but Magic, you have this Planeswalker that's on there. You want to attack that because it's getting the value. It's just adding more and more pieces that you can then choose to attack apart from the actual player to take life from them, which is how you win the game. Is just again, it's just it's horrible to deal with. So I do like that that design
And
space.
it's such a in Flesh and Blood, it's such a consequential move to target.
Oh god, yeah.
In Aura with Spectra, you lose so much of your turn. If you're playing if you're a hero that doesn't have a lot of go again or that doesn't have those extra action points on there, and you have to commit to this, like if Prism becomes the boogeyman and you kind of have to, you're putting in your sideboard, it looks funky so that you can deal with this stuff. But even just by the nature of having to attack these so much puts Prism in such a advantageous position.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, that it ends up just I don't know. It feels bad because these cards are all really good, and it makes you question. Was this really necessary?
Yeah.
Probably
You
not,
have to.
honestly.
You then have to. You have to tech in. You have to have some sort of go wide tech to deal with this crap, don't you? Really, because you can't just waste. You can't just use your only attack if you're a massive attack coming in, or an Azalea that wants to, as I said, shoot one massive arrow into this. You have to commit your whole turn into getting rid of this bloody aura, which is just horrible.
Well, short of action point manipulation, you have to, no matter what, commit, because the Spectra prevents the go again, right? So
you need your action points. But you need to think about running time skippers or running those time snap potions.
Yeah.
Even if your build, if your hero wouldn't normally run those, or doesn't carry a lot of blues where you're gonna have to pitch for the time skippers anyways. Like
it's horrible thinking about that.
Those are decisions that you're gonna have to start making.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of depressing to
Bloody
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not even finished yet because this next one, Pierce Reality, another 0 cost aura, obviously with Spectra. The first illusionist attack action card you play each turn has +2 attack. So again, just coincidentally, just buffing all of your first attack action cards you play, which are already massive anyway.
So not as scary,
Herald of Erudition for 7 without Phantasm each turn.
Yeah. If you can stack these up, you're loving life, ain't you? Really, but that's probably the worst one of the 3. But yeah, still, that's not very nice if you can get loads of those out.
I do like Pierce Reality more than Haze Bending. If I had to put them up. Oh, Mirage Reality Bending.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's funny because I think Haze Bending is. I mean, it depends what your build's trying to do. Because if you're on the Auras build, Haze Bending becomes infinitely more powerful. If you're on the Herald's build, you want Passing Mirage and Pierce Reality. So
different routes to go down then. Lovely.
Yeah.
So next we have the Coalescence Mirage, which is a 3 of each pitch. Sorry. So cost 2, blocks for 3, and it attacks for 7, 6, or 5. It has Phantasm, and if it's destroyed, well, when it's destroyed, you may put an Illusionist Aura card of 0 cost from your hand into the arena.
Oh, look at that! Makes those
Cool.
other cards good.
There we go.
Right.
There's the payoff.
Really great.
Yeah, this is the card I think that I think this card's going to see a lot of play moving forward because it can effectively allow you to cheese in either of the
Cheese.
0 costed auras.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well,
The logo.
it's like, I mean, you can this gets destroyed, you put an aura in play, and then you can footsteps, gain your action point back. Now you've got, say, I don't know, if you got shimmers in play, now you swing your first aura on the turn, it gets +1 counter on it.
Yeah.
Like of all the non-light heralds we have, this one I think is probably the most powerful now. Like, this beats out Spears of Surreality and Enigma Chimera
Yeah.
for an include in that sense.
Yeah.
And possibly even beats out some of the light heralds we have, because that effect is just so powerful.
Yeah.
I don't want to play against Prism,
No, I don't.
so
Yeah.
let's just downplay all these cards. Maybe nobody will play.
Either. Rubbish.
No one will notice.
Nobody knows. And then we've got 2 more cards in the Prism section. We've got Phantasmal Haze. So obviously this comes in each pitch value. Costs 3 to play. It blocks for 3 and it attacks for 8, 7, or 6. So yeah, big Phantasm attacks yet again. And it says when this is destroyed, you create a Spectral Shield token.
I don't
I
This
don't
is
Great.
easy play.
Yeah, right. I don't actually like this too much.
No.
Too expensive for
not
not
powerful
enough
enough.
effect.
Right. So conditional.
Cool. We'll move straight on then, shall we? Lovely old job. Next, we've got Veiled Intentions. So this is Illusionist action. Blocks for 2. You cost 1, and obviously you can pitch it for each value. The next attack action card you play this turn is Illusionist, in addition to his other types, and it gains +4, +3, or +2 Phantasm. And when this is destroyed, draw a card.
This is I'm just checking to see if Phantasmify is light. I don't believe it is.
I think
I
so.
don't think
No.
But-
so. It's
No,
an
it's not.
illusionist.
No.
Yeah.
So this is just an alternative to Phantasmify,
Right.
because Phantasmify costs 1. I believe it's the same. Is it the same power buff? No, it's 1 less than Phantasmify is on the
Yeah,
cycle.
it's
so
one less, but you get the
Draw card.
conditional draw card.
You get the draw card.
off of it. But you're still right.
So
This
maybe-
is your. Go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe you sideboard this in a matchup where you see things getting destroyed and you want to draw gas for your turn.
Yeah.
If you're committing to a Herald's build.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
the decision harder. That's all it is. Like, cool, do I want to pop this and not take damage, or do I want him to draw a card?
Yeah.
So,
And if you're trying to, if you're doing your fractal replication, non-light illusionist aggro deck with a bunch of spicy generics, these are going in with the Phantasmifies.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Nice little option there then if you need to change that. And finally, we go into the generics, which basically any of the heroes can use. And obviously we start off with the reprint we all knew was coming, and that's the Dull Cap, or the Skull Fest, or whatever it's called.
Why are they calling it Dull Cap? I actually have no clue.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not
non,
foil.
non-foil,
Not
because
foiled,
the
yeah.
foil is shiny.
Oh, okay, that
So
makes sense.
non-foil
Dull.
is dull.
The Dull Cap.
Duh.
Yeah. So we all know what that does. Let's just skip that one. Arcane Lantern,
Who needs it?
an offhand generic
Arcane-
equipment with
or
Arcane
not.
Barrier. Does anybody want to use this?
Katsu can run this with his one-hand Kadachi
Oh,
to,
that
I don't
sounds
know.
terrible.
That sounds terrible. I can't
You
even
see-
make that sound like even.
I think this is great Guardian. This is Guardian Blitz Kano Tech. You're running
Yeah.
this. That's about it. So they can Arcane Barrier 5, and they're the only class that can really handle that, anyways. So
Yeah.
You can maybe
Yeah, I guess
Mandible
Ira
Claw
maybe,
and
but
Arcane
I don't
Lantern.
think Ira
right.
wants.
Every other one-handed, dual wielding hero. I think it feels bad to take out one weapon
Yeah.
before this.
Yeah.
I'd rather run Needle and Ira. That's
Yeah.
Indicator.
But Bravo, star of the show, can run this and Winter's Whale still and be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he's loving
That's
life.
why he's the star of the show.
He's the star of the show.
He could
Starvo.
use this and his shield and not have a weapon and still be star of the show.
Actually, I think
He's Captain America.
Point of order. Your shield and your arcane lantern are both offhand.
Oh, yeah, that's
equipment,
right.
so you can you can have either one or the other. You cannot
Damn.
have both.
That's a shame. Never mind.
Sucks. No.
Rules lawyered.
I'll just cut that out. That's fine.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'll leave it in there just because I don't care. Right then. So next we have Bingo. So this is a one-cost generic attaction. That's a new keyword.
Love it.
I like it. Run with it.
New attaction.
In action.
One cost, 5 attack, generic action, attack, blocks for 3. So if it hits, they reveal a card from their hand. If an attack action card is revealed this way, it gains go again. If a non-attack action card is revealed this way, draw a card. 1 for 5.
It's kind of brutal that they get to choose for what they're revealing, so they get to choose your fate. But they're both good. Just don't count on getting go again or card. That's the only thing. You got to play it and be happy with either one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of lightning presses off of this.
Yeah.
Gross.
I want this to hit.
I meant from the sense like your opponent reveals lightning
Yeah.
press, and like cool, so I get neither.
I
But
get nothing.
I do. Think
but now I
this-
know you have a lightning press.
I think this sees a lot of play. I'm super high on this. I think this slots in well. This ends a combat chain well. I think this goes into like Ira, who loves to have the 5 attacks. I'm putting this into Katsu in some number. I just like it. And if I have a quicken token from even bigger than that, and I'm coming on with this anyways, I just like the 5 attack. 5 attack for 1 generic that has a consequential on hit is good everywhere. So I'm super high on it.
Yeah, when it replaces itself as well, doesn't it? I guess, in a sense, because you can draw a card
It
as
can,
well. Worst case
right?
scenario.
I mean, you get information, and you know, depending on how you set your turn up, you're either gaining an arsenal or you're stretching out your combat chain. So depending on how you want to play it, you can.
Yeah.
You can really, like I was talking about Warrior before. I mean, there's ways to set that up so you can make it the wrong decision.
Yeah.
No matter what, you can either enable the go again, so they're just thinking, oh, your combat chain's over. I'll give you the non-attack to draw a card, but in reality, you were ready for that anyways. I don't know what you do with it, but stuff like that is there.
Exactly.
Well, I guess the worst case is you don't get either, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
1 for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it's still, at the end of the day, it's 1 for 5, and that I
Mhm.
think that ends up being
Decent rate. Yeah.
I know like for Katsu, Torrent is usually that, right? You don't usually see the rest of the combo. You see the 1 for 5 to end. In Ira, it kind of sees that kind of play as well. I think this is good in Briar as well, but I like it. It goes in a lot of decks. I think.
Yeah.
I'll be playing it.
I'll be playing it.
Yeah,
And a lot of people thought this was Dash in the clown outfit as well.
Yeah, they did.
Still
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They were so
What a
wrong.
misdirection.
It could be. You never know. It was never revealed. Cool. Well, it actually it does say winner winner chicken dinner Astia on the flavor text. So maybe that's Astia. I just don't know anymore. Next we have fire breathing. So this is a generic action attack. Very confusing how this works, or at least how I've thought it works. So yeah, 2 attack, generic action, blocks for 3, attacks for 3. So as an instant, you can pay 1 and it gains +1. Activate this ability only when it's attacking. So when can you activate this instant? Can you activate it before they've... How does this work?
You can-
But at any point after the after the attack's been declared. But I think like the distinction is that you can't use this to pop a herald or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like this can't be used while you're defending or in any time outside of when you're using this to attack.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Same thing with the analog and better version of the card, which is exude confidence. So
Yeah.
Right, better rate.
Yeah.
Than Exude there.
This is an
I like-
exude that can be pummeled without having any other thing on it. That's about it.
Right.
I like this
It is
card
yeah, me too. I
in
like
like Starvo as a
Starvo.
finisher. lot, or even like anything playing a lot of blues, just like the threat of activation. I enjoy threat of activation
Yeah.
cards, so
I think
I
it's
like
a good sync. With
yeah.
those, you know.
I like sending it out and then blocking with 3 or 4 cards in hand and then you don't have to do anything. Here's right.
Okay then.
All right.
No.
And yeah, I don't know. I like
Yeah, it gives
Yeah,
them
I
something
think-
else to think about, doesn't it? You love that, don't you?
it.
Give it something else to think about. Lovely old job.
It's pretty crazy how I feel like they really gave Wizards a of the coast kind of a little middle finger.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
it too. You know,
Yeah.
I can appreciate that the AEW to WWE style call out.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one red. It's one red for +1, isn't it? So yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, fire breathing
definitely
is,
a call out.
is the mechanic. Yeah,
Yeah.
those is pretty
Right.
crazy.
And it's funny you mentioned the WWE call out because we recently learned about James White being a wrestling fan as well on
Yeah.
the Flake podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of them are though, isn't it? Oh, the New Zealand folk love them. A lot of them love wrestling. Like Ian from Right Time Gaming loves it as well, and I think it's a massive thing over there. So it's
Oh yeah.
it's good to see.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Love to see it. Don't know where's that phrase come from. Love to see it. Do you know?
You know, you just love to see it.
Just love to see it in
Just
general.
love to see it.
Yeah,
Right.
you love to see it. Yeah.
Just love to see it in generally speaking. Cool. Okay then. Well, that's it really. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So fire breathing. Yeah. Pretty good. Next we have cash out. Generic action, majestic, blocks for 2, costs nothing. And it says, as additional cost to play it, you may destroy a number of weapons, equipments, and/or non-token items you control, and you create a silver token for each permanent destroyed this way. Go again. Yeah, I guess you're just turning your things into potential cards. I don't know.
This is
For
terrible.
that win con we're waiting for.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah. We still have to
Watch, I
time
can
it.
slap
hate
this
it.
down,
This
turn
is terrible.
everything I control into silver tokens, and win the game
Yeah.
at some point when that card
But-
gets printed.
At some
But
point, yeah.
Not yet.
Exactly. It's just foreshadowing again.
This is one of those, right? This is your cute PVE merchant
Yeah.
deck thing that does stuff but doesn't win anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Again, it's just more foreshadowing potentially for extra products we might get in the future. We will see with that. Knick Knack Bric-a-Brac. Interesting title. Generic action, blocks for 2, costs 3. As additional cost to play it, you may destroy a number of copper, silver, and/or gold you control. Gold, we haven't even seen that yet. So again, foreshadowing for future things. Search your deck for a card with amulet, potion, or talisman in its name, and put it into the arena. Then shuffle, and then for each 4 copper, 2 silver, or 1 gold, destroy this way. Repeat this process. So again, yeah, just more fun stuff for that build. For future.
Yeah,
Dude,
we don't.
Item vomiter.
Yeah.
Here's my hot take
Let's
as
go.
we get into the generic stuff. Somewhere in this quagmire of items, there is something there. Whatever that is, it might be a combo. There's something in there, I think, that will allow you to kind of break the game open for a hero.
Yeah.
When that is discovered, I think you'll start seeing Knick Knack Bric-a-Brac as a way to get those onto the field and set up for your thing. What that is yet? Don't know.
Nobody knows.
There's pieces there, but I think if the items they're pushing end up affecting the game more than I think people are thinking, then the need to get those items will become a little more
I put
important.
that Always Sunny gif of that guy with all the red lines and stuff. That gif can go on the
Yeah.
screen now.
Here we go.
Nice. So yeah, just more fun stuff when that comes up, I guess. And this round's on me. This is one of the first ones that we saw, wasn't it? I believe when we first started getting the spoilers. So 3 defense, generic action. Pitches for 3, and it costs 1. It says each hero draws a card. Until the start of your next turn, attacks that target you have -1 and go again. So,
Very good. This is a great tech for a lot of Guardian decks to play against those low to the ground decks go wides, and it's also great
Niches.
multiplayer.
Yeah,
Yep.
amen to that.
There's a lot of heroes that can potentially play this card, so it's just going to come down to what people want to try to do with this card, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
this minus, if you look at the -1 clause, Luminar's Prism, all the auras get shut down with that. Katsu feels this. Yeah, so I think Benji, yeah. So there's a lot of ways this card can be used, and I think it's really going to come down to how creative people are feeling.
Like
Yeah.
Katsu is getting punished a whole lot for
Yeah.
for no good reason. It's I feel like
I
it's
could
What
think
did
of plenty
Katsu
of good
do?
reasons.
right. What did Katsu do?
Stop
Suffering
hating
from
on me.
Prism's sins. But this is right. I feel like this is kind of this is sideboard tech across the board, right? If your
Mhm.
meta has something relevant in it,
Yeah.
this is going in, and you're
Yeah.
playing any number of those. As many as you feel appropriate in there.
Definitely. A lot of silver bullets in this in this set, which is what I like. There's a lot of sideboard esque cards going in.
Yeah, lots of sideboard tech, lots of specificity.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it.
Just hating on certain things, so everybody has a chance to nerf certain stuff. Lovely, yeah. So we have Life of the Party next, which it comes in all 3 pitch values. Pitches for each of them cost 2. Attacks for 4, 3, or 2, depending on the pitch value. Defends for 2, and it says you may discard or destroy a card you control named Crazy Brew rather than pay its cost. And if you do, choose all modes. Otherwise, choose 1. So yeah, just a fun card that works with a named card. Have we seen this before? Something that names another card apart from Slogism and that?
There's a couple
Nimble
like
Strike,
Nimble Strike.
Yes, the Sun Kiss and Moon whatever.
Sunkiss Moonwish.
Oh, okay, yes, there's a fair few.
Yeah.
Worth noting that it's at random as you choose one at random because it came up in an Ultimate Pit Fight game I was in. You need to.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So cards,
Oh
fun,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
Well, you
not-
run a version of Pit Fight where you have a Crazy Brew on tap, don't you? I think. I've
Mhm.
heard.
Yeah, yeah. At the beginning of each turn, it's fun.
Yeah. Just spice it
Yeah.
up a bit. Lovely.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did think this would see more. Like I feel like when this was released, I thought I'd see everyone try to slot in Life of the Party and Crazy Brews. They'd like to give it a shot, but it hasn't quite panned out that way.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not for nothing, but it's a non-attack into an attack that has all that stuff. I think there's definitely Breyer, I think more than anybody else could potentially use a lot of these items and generic, non-attacks, and can make use of what would be that's a 0 cost 6 attack with all that good stuff on it. So
Yeah.
it's not outside the realm of possibility. Just haven't seen it yet.
Just haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Cool. Next we have High Striker, which I'm going to be putting in my Kasai deck when I do it for the multiplayer game. This is just a 0 cost. Go again. Blocks for 2. The next time attack you control hits, you create 6, 4, or 2 copper tokens. So just a bit of fun, really, for the money synergy. I don't know how much more we're going to see of the money synergy. Obviously, we've still got gold to come yet.
Yeah, gold to come.
So I reckon we'll probably see that in the pits, maybe, because obviously it's like not mercenaries, but sort of contract killers, or maybe Volcor, because obviously Kasai cares about the mercenary side of things. So maybe we'll see more money synergies in those sets. But yeah, I do like that they're sort of filtering that in.
I like that thought, As. I like where you're going with that.
Yeah. Because obviously I think the pits is like a Thieves Guild, Assassins Guild sort of type vibe. So I think maybe we could see a lot of more gold in that, or obviously Volcor. Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool little card for those sort of synergies. Then we have pick a card, any card. Again, 0 cost, generic action. Blocks for 2. Look at target opponent's hand. Then name a card. Choose a random card from their hand and reveal it. If it's a name card, you get a silver token and repeat this process thrice. Go again.
Or twice or once.
Right.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's okay.
There we go. So yeah, the pitch value depends on the twice, second, or once. Yeah, just a bit of fun, really, isn't it? That one.
You can get rich quick, or you can
So-
just spend a card to do nothing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Get rich or die trying.
Oh, I love
Yep.
spending a card to do nothing. It's my favourite thing.
I dread the red becoming popular and having to deal with this in practice of having to just
Yeah.
watch my opponent do this
Yeah.
like a sensei's top over and over again. So my question is, or between high striker and pick a card and a couple of these other things, is any of the coin generator cards enough to play them and cash in a deck outside of Kasai yet? Is there any
I don't think so, not yet.
No.
money ninjas or money rune blades
No.
around?
Mm,
We're a
'Cause the-
long ways away.
long
Yeah,
ways
not
away.
quite there yet.
Yeah.
Even if you like spiked on this and got 4 silver, you're still paying this card and another card like cash in to get 2 cards. So like it's only paying you off on the second cash in. So like really you're still
Yeah.
down.
Mhm.
Like you're not up cards, I should say.
Yeah.
It just costs too much, doesn't it? Four resources to draw 1 card off of a copper is just not where you want to be, unless you can cheat that somehow with like cash-ins or other effects. But unfortunately not. But it's foreshadowing, isn't it, for something else? Let's be honest. Some sort
See
of
it all in the end.
money mechanic. Cool. So next you got Smashing Good Time, which was previewed by Pleasant Kenobi, a fellow British man. Smashing is a nice little British slang for cracking good time, great time. So this is a 0 cost generic action, blocks for 2, and the next time an attack action card hits a hero this turn, you may destroy an item they control with cost 2 or less. And if it's played from Arsenal, the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3 and go again. So probably just not good, really.
But we saw the
This
meeps.
card?
We saw the meeps. That's what matters. This is one of those meeps.
I think this card is a sideboard all-star.
Sideboard
awesome.
All-Star.
Yeah, I
Dash
mean,
is dominating your meta.
Old claim
Yeah.
cotton.
Well, if the items come in, right? If my magical combo starts appearing, this becomes super super relevant, and you can start destroying the items.
Yeah.
I think it's something that Briar's interested in her board
Maybe.
right now.
It's very
Against
least you
Dash.
can
It's
get
just
buff.
against Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But not against any of the items in the set, other than the Dash ones. But
Yeah.
I'm teching against those amulets of opulence, whatever they are. I'm teching against them because I'm going to see them in the meta. All sorts of amulets and potions.
Y'all rue the day Amulet of Haven Call becomes.
Oh my god!
There we
Yeah.
go. It's going to pop off. It's going to summon a magical genie.
Get my rally the rear guard.
I mean, Talisman of Featherfoot and Ninja makes sense,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think.
There's a lot of them that are like, this could be alright.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But maybe combined.
Well, we've still got the amulets and the potions to go. The most exciting part of the video up next after this next card, so we can get into that then. So even bigger than that is a card that also Flake talks about before he exited. This comes in both all of the pitch values. So cost nothing, generic instant, so anyone can play it at any time. It says play bigger than that only if you've dealt physical damage this turn, and it says opt 3, 2, or 1, and then they reveal the top card of your deck. If it has power greater than the amount of damage you've dealt this turn, create a quicken token and draw a card. So a lot of stuff going on with this.
That's a good
Flake
something.
nailed it with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Just doesn't block. That's the
Yeah.
only problem.
Ninja's where I'm most excited to play this.
Yeah, right.
You're not throwing it in
red-
Oldham, you know.
No.
No.
You play this after you play a Pulverize.
Oh,
Like, I missed it.
Cool. So yeah, let's go on to the items then. So this is the last sort of batch of stuff that we've got. Is all the items in the set, and that is pretty much it. So a lot of these are just random effects really. So we've got Amulet of Assertiveness first of all. So none of these block, so I'm not going to bother saying that. 0 cost, pitches for 2 this one. Go again. As an attack reaction, you can destroy it. Target attack gains. When this hits, banish the top card of your deck. And if it's an attack action card, you may play it this turn. Activate its ability only if you have 4 or more cards in hand. What?
Ooh,
Drone. Makes a card a drone.
Oh.
that sucks.
We're just moving on from that, aren't we, straight away?
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I think this is
What?
one of those sneaky good ones. Dan.
You are
I think this is
you're
one of the
joking,
better
right?
ones.
I can't read
Huh?
the sarcasm.
No, I think
Oh.
I think this has some sneaky good utility. That's all.
Ooh.
That's fine. I'll play all of them. That's fine.
You can play all of them.
Yeah,
Amulet
yep.
Tribal.
At least
Can't
it's
wait.
got go again. Some of these don't have go again, so.
Yeah.
So even better. Yeah.
The items with the go again definitely lowers the opportunity cost to get them in there. But I do think Amulet of Assertiveness does have. There's something. That's one of the cards where I think there's something there. So.
Oh, 4 more cards in hand though.
Yeah, you play your attack from Arsenal. Pop it.
Yeah, with what? I guess it's gonna be a 0 cost.
Yeah, I got a million of them in Katsu and Briar.
Yes, maybe.
I mean, snatch off a Quicken token, or
I mean, there's
Scar for a Scar off
think
out of the arsenal.
I think there's more applications than people think, especially if you're using your tunic or your Heart and Cross strap with something from Arsenal. This can feed. This is your. I think this is one of the ways to get extra 100 wins in. If you have if you have it set up right in your hand,
Yeah.
I think you can definitely extend the combat chain where aggro decks want to do that. So
Yeah,
Here's
I
its
guess.
biggest weakness to me is you got to put it in your deck.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
It takes up a slot. Let's remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's 0 cost and it has go again, I think that makes that a little more palpable than the previous items.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
and it's a 0 cost yellow, so if I'm not ready, I can pitch that for Kadachis as well.
That's 2 Kadachi swings right there.
That is.
Oh,
Worth it.
dear. Sort of fueling the fire. Cool. Nice. So it's good to know that some of us have actually thought of the synergies with that, because I definitely hadn't.
Gotta think outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Amulet of Echoes is the next one. So cost nothing. Pitches for 3 this one. Go again. As an instant, you can destroy it, and target hero discards 2 cards. And you can only activate this ability only if they've played 2 or more cards with the same name this turn.
Super corner case.
This one I have no clue.
Like you get your 100 wins, or like
That's
something
what
like
I'm
that,
terrified.
I guess.
This is out while I play my 100 wins combos.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all
it
I
just
got.
makes you have to play around it. So it just makes your opponent like
Yeah, they can
think
easily not.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This next one's Pat's favorite, right?
Here we go. Yep. Play set of these 9 rallies.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even need to read this one out, because you know what it is, obviously.
Yeah,
But it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work well. Like you can't even
No.
like trigger the rear guard. It's just literally terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you can. I mean, the rally does. You still have a you have a spot of priority where you can do your rally thing.
But you don't
Because
have the
one-
card in hand.
Yeah, you can only activate this if you have no cards in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, this is terrible. All right.
Rubbish.
It's terrible. It's literally terrible.
There we are. So next we have Amulet of Ignition, Freshen Buds Out the Kitchen.
What?
I'm not trying to be rude.
What?
Sipping on cooking rum.
Yeah. Loving it. Yeah, so this is the cold 4 you don't want to pull from your packs. Is Amulet of Ignition. 0 cost, go again with an instant. Destroy it. The next ability you activate this turn costs 1 less. Activate this ability only if you haven't played a card or activated an ability this turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
A free resource for a bad card in your deck.
pretty much.
Yep.
Nobody cares about that then, do we?
Not a fan.
Not now.
Nope, not at the moment. Amulet of Intervention, next one. Blue pitch, 0, go again. Instant ability, destroy it. Prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to a hero this turn. Activate this ability only while your hero is the target of a source that would deal damage equal to or greater than your hero's life. Wow, I just don't want to read the rest of it. Well, there is no rest of it, but that's poor, isn't it?
A very
Full
corner
art,
case.
though.
Great art.
It is.
Not
The
a good
art
intervention.
is very good.
All the arts on these amulets are awesome.
So when the carnival slot came out, one of my biggest fears is that it would turn into Magic's The List and
Oh,
just
yeah.
like random crap filling that slot.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I got it, but we got it with most of these amulets.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Unless these are just like going to be amazingly awesome in the future, which is this, I just can't see it panning out to be that way.
No.
It's just preventing one. Like, why not like set it to like, oh, you lose everything, but then you are at 1 or something like that. Like put your life to 1.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no.
Yeah. Cool. So next we have is Amulet of Oblation. Again, blue pitch, go again. Instant ability, destroy it until the end of turn. Attack action card, target attack action card gains. If this would be put into a graveyard, instead put it on the bottom of its owner's deck. Activate its ability only if you card has entered the graveyard this turn.
I think it's Flake's card, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Nope.
No, it's not great.
Flex card? It's not good.
The conditions you got to meet on some of these are
It's ridiculous, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, so many hoops.
they're pretty tight.
Yeah.
I bet you all these conditions though are because at some point in the testing process, somebody figured out some busted thing you could do with each and every one of these cards, and they're like, "All right, as long as we put this clause on it."
Yeah.
Nerf it out of use. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. You think the lead design is a Prism player and Amulet just of Haven Call just completely crushed them, and they were like, you know what? No cards, no cards in hand.
Nothing. Yeah.
That's what you get, Phil. And that's
Security prison player.
God damn it.
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, in the interview that Flake did actually with James White, he did say that there's going to be an alchemist, or alluded to an alchemist.
Yeah.
So maybe this is
Yeah.
this is the reason why we're getting all of these items and potions.
Yeah, it's in the
a lot of
it's in the
potions for
lore book.
alchemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
potentially. So maybe this is something to do with that. Next we have Clarity Potion. Going into the potions now. So this is an instant. Destroy it, opt 2. So just a little talismanic lens, basically. No go again, though, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, all these does.
This might see play in Kano. The fact that you can Kano this off the top and get an instant opt 2
Yeah,
could be
it's true.
beneficial.
Yeah.
I'm still not certain because the fact that this card doesn't block,
Yeah.
I'm still not certain if this is good enough to just randomly replace any blue in the Kano deck. But there is some potential for this, I'll say.
Makes sense, yeah, because obviously you want to opt, you want to see what's on top for the Kano activation, and it's blue pitch as well, so he does love a few potions. You just don't want to obviously chuck too many in there. Healing Potion, again, just a blue pitch action, destroy it, gain 2 life, go again. You do get a go again after that, though. So,
This was my spoiler card, and I wish it was better.
yeah.
But
Sorry, Tap.
hey, I mean, it's a potion. It's a mead. They called it a mead in the art, so I was happy because it's very fitting for the channel. So I was very happy.
Yeah.
About
Oh,
that.
exactly, yeah. What
Yeah.
better way just to spoil it, but on BrewTapCast, a potion.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
So yeah, nice to see a healing potion in the game as well. We haven't had one of those yet, have we?
It's thematic, yeah.
Exactly. Potion of Seeing is the next one. Instant, destroy it, look at target opponent's hand. Or target hero's hand. You can even look at your own with this. That's synergy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy it.
That's
Look
that
at my hand.
galaxy brain stuff right there.
I made a joke about this card in my set review.
Yeah.
saying that you can pop this, look at your hero's hand, and see all the good cards they're playing, as opposed to the bad one you just played.
Oh, I love it.
I don't think it's good, by the way.
No.
No.
Nah. Cool. Potion of Deja Vu. Instant ability, destroy it. Put all cards from your pitch zone on top of your deck in any order. Kano or not?
I saw a deck
Wizard
on
player.
FabDB. Yeah, I saw a deck on FabDB that it was a Kano deck that used this card, and I think the idea once again is you can just keep cycling the same blues off the top of your deck to have the constant pitch you want.
Yeah.
But I don't think whereas Clarity Potion at least I think is beneficial. I'd rather just draw off the top of my deck with this card, and because you're gonna put the blues you need in your deck anyway, so. Yeah, I don't see this card getting played in Wizard.
No.
Would it motivate you to kind of manipulate your Kano pitch at that point? Like, would you want to pitch a red in then a blue, or and keep doing Kano things to be able to stack that red where you need it to do Kano things? Is that how
though,
Wizard works? I don't know.
So I see where you're coming from. I could see maybe in some crazy because every once in a while I get this Kano turn where I draw all these cards and I've got 6, 8, 10 cards in my pitch zone. 10's a little extreme, but 4 to 6 cards in my pitch zone, and maybe then I can pitch the red where I want to I want to stack that red right at the bottom of my pitch. But for the most part, I'd rather not manipulate my pitch zone to that extent.
Yeah.
Just play good
Just
cards.
let me
and
rip
not
them
have
off
to
the
worry
top.
about
Yeah.
this.
100%.
Just blind activate the Kano and just see what happens. Let's do maximum damage rather than trying to set up.
Blind Kano is a trap too, but
It is, yeah.
I think there's better tools than Potion of Deja Vu, I think.
Yeah. Nice. Next we have Potion of Ironhide. So instant, destroy it. Attack action cards you own, gain +1. So it's basically a embodiment of Earth, isn't it?
One of the better
Earth,
potions, maybe?
Yeah.
That actually does
It's
something
just,
good?
Amulet of Earth does this, correct?
Oh yes, it does. Yeah.
Or is that the pluses? Is it plus both? I forget.
I think
It pluses both, yeah.
Something similar,
Okay.
yeah.
On the condition that you Earth fused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I like this because it has, as it was so put, the threat of activation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's the only good thing this card has going for it.
Yeah. Potion of Luck is destroy it, shuffle your hand and arsenal into your deck, then draw that many cards.
This has to do something, right?
It's gotta do, yeah.
This is one of the good ones, I think.
Draw 5 cards for nothing.
Yeah,
Basically.
Earthlore. This works with Earthlore Bounty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does.
So
Action
you
card.
can draw.
Nailed it. Solved it.
Draw 5.
Great card.
Boom.
I'm going to point out with this card, I'm noticing across a couple of these different cards, there's a really funny thing happening with the flavor text where they keep re-referencing this character named Jezebel, but with every card. So on Healing Potion, it's Jezebel Everfest Healer, and then on Potion of Seeing, it's Everfest Alchemist, and then on, that's kind of a fun little thing they did there. On Ironhide, it's the Everfest Ringmaster, and then on Potion of Luck, it's the Everfest Wise Woman.
What the hell?
Is she going to be a shapeshifter?
Wow, yeah, that's
No, maybe.
Oh man, shape-shifting alchemist, huh?
Oh baby.
That's kind of a fun little flavor thing for sure.
Yeah.
And the language on the card, not the cards, but the spoiler things that they put up, they actually put it really, really small. Instead of saying all sorts, it actually says of sorts. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So it's because it's not on here, they're all sorts, right? But it's actually of sorts. So it's who knows what she's doing.
50.
Bit of misdirection.
What they're doing.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got that. I reckon there's going to be some cool stuff with that as we get more stuff. Like Pat said, I think there's going to be some interesting things that we can get with that, but we'll see. Going back to a few of the talismans here, we have Talisman of Balance. So go again at the beginning of your end phase if you have less cards in your arsenal than your opposing hero. So it works in multiplayer. Destroy Talisman of Balance and put the top card of your deck into an empty arsenal zone you control.
I don't hate it. It's got use.
So
It messes with your
I'm
opponent's
confused,
maybe
though.
pitching.
If you have less cards than Arsenal, isn't this just another way to arsenal a card that you can already do with your end phase?
If you don't have a
Yeah.
card to arsenal,
You have less
but
than.
I believe you have, right. Does the draw take place after this? Would you have to have a card you chose not to arsenal?
no.
to
It
put
doesn't. It doesn't look at your hand.
Maybe your end phase if you have less cards in
Cards
Arsenal
in
than your
Arsenal.
opposing. So then, in theory, if you're playing
the top
into
card. Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
Ranger,
New
you
Horizon.
could arsenal a second card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
If
I was
they have-
reading that
yeah.
wrong. Yep.
Yeah, it says the empty arsenal zone.
Okay,
doesn't
so
it?
it's sideboard
Right, so-
tech for Ranger, maybe.
Or a way to get an extra card I mean, yeah. Again, you're
Yeah.
losing the value of putting this in your deck, right? But then you're like, cool. I don't think your opponent's really going to give a shit about you getting an extra card once in the game if they have something in their arsenal. But ultimately, you are having the ability to slap something in the arsenal if they have something there and you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
so if you ran dry and you like, man, I really wish I could have a 5-card hand next turn. This essentially could do that. It's very
Right.
conditional on your opponent, though.
Yeah, you would. Have, so
yeah.
if they had a card in Arsenal and you had your big turn, right, and burn through your hand, but had this out, then you could you can reload easier, right? You have your card in Arsenal, draw up, and you're back to a 5-card hand for next turn, which has all the application in the world.
Yeah. Again, just very conditional. All of these, aren't they? Talisman of Creation is the next one. Go again. While you play a card, when you play a card from your banish zone, destroy it and name a card. Banish all cards with the chosen name from each opposing hero's graveyard.
Here's the anti-Leviathan tech, right? You banish in the mirror. You
Yeah.
banish all the things.
Just what we
Yeah.
needed. The
I
menace
think
of Leviathan.
there's I think 3 heroes that can interact with the graveyard currently. Leviathan being one of them. The other 2 are, or I guess just Runeblade in general, because Rattlebones and Blossoming Spellblade are the only other cards I can think of that interact with the graveyard right now.
There's like Remembrance, but that's like you got to pick the
Oh,
right
and
thing.
Remembrance.
But that's
And I guess Memorial Ground if we're going that route. Yeah, too.
And then Cadaverous Contraband as well, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I think
So yeah, where are we going with that? Sorry.
so much utility.
Yeah.
I was
I
just
don't
saying,
know.
there's not
I
a
just
lot
don't
of
know anymore.
Earthbriar
interaction
hate.
right
That's all I can think of, right?
Yeah.
If Chain feels like screwing up if Chain's worried about Leviathan at a tournament, maybe they sideboard this in. I don't.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is
when
happening.
you play from your banished, that's one of those.
now. My
really
point was just how
specific
little
things,
graveyard interaction we have, so I just don't know why I want to play this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
right?
Until
But
we
yeah,
get-
when you
until we
play
get
from
something.
your banish zone too, so you can only
Yeah.
Chain and Katsu
Leviathan.
and Leviathan.
Yeah.
There's a couple like random, like in this set, we're getting a couple like banish this card. You may play this turn. Like there's a warrior one that does that too. So it's not like
Yeah,
only
yeah.
there, but actually, doesn't doesn't your favorite amulet do that too? Banish, yeah. So amulet of assertiveness does banish it. So theoretically, you could like totally hit it. Banish
Hey,
top
look.
card, magical Christmas land.
Step 1, step 2. The combo is being built here.
There we
We're
go.
connecting the strings down here.
We're figuring it out as it goes along. 4 amulets left, and then that is pretty much it. So we've got Talisman of Featherfoot. So go again, Talisman. When an attack you control gains exactly +1 from an effect during the reaction step, destroy it and it gains go again.
I think this could be okay in an environment where you play Ancestral Empowerment on an attack that doesn't have go again.
It is.
That's like a
You can do. Yeah, right. Like.
Blue Razor Reflex. There we go.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Does work on attacks and not just attack actions. So
That's true.
Yeah.
if you can buff your weapon.
Blue Razor Reflex on a Dawn Blade. There we go. Now it's got go again.
Yeah.
I
That's
hate
the
that it
spicy
has
stuff.
to be in the reaction step. That's such a confined way to do this. Like it could see so much more play if it was like if it just has a +1. Then like there's so many more applications. It's so like narrow right now though.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't want it to be too good, Russ.
I know. Go against scary. Go against scary. I get it.
Indeed. So yeah, the last three we have Talisman of Recompense. So go again whenever you pitch a card. If you would gain exactly 1 resource, instead destroy it and gain 3 resource. And obviously this pitches for 2.
I do like this in any aggro deck that like worries about drawing those hands they brick on. The
Yeah.
fact that you can kind of flash this out, or not flash it out, but play it out, and then on that turn where you draw full reds, where you actually need something more. It's essentially another deep blue.
Not deep blue, yeah.
Mhm.
Right. If you've committed to deep blue, you're probably okay with putting this in as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Which some people are. I've seen with deep blue gets more than no play. It's on.
Yeah, it's a fine card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Next we have Talisman of Tiths. Don't know how you pronounce this. So 0 cost. Blue pitch, go again. If an opponent would draw 1 or more cards during your action phase, instead destroy this talisman, and then they draw that many -1. So if they would draw cards during your turn, so when would they do that? When would they draw cards during your turn? I can't think of it.
Prism playing off of Tome of Divinity when Soul Shield has gone into her soul. I don't know.
Or Potion of Luck. It does allow you to draw cards at instant speed.
That's
we
true.
just found the counter to Potion of Luck.
Dueling items.
Oh, this round's on me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Some
Dude,
usage for it.
hedging the this round's on me.
It's so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. So it's only -1 as
Best I
well.
got.
So yeah. I don't know.
I mean, drawing only 2 cards off of Tome of Divinity does feel bad. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's the best I got, though.
That's it, really, isn't it? Not much else. And then we have Talisman of Warfare. The last talisman, last card in the set, 0 cost, go again, pitches for 2, and when a source you control deals exactly 2 damage to an opposing hero, destroy it, and all cards in all arsenals, just destroys yours as well. So this is not the CNC that people wanted, unfortunately.
It's so weird.
It's weird.
Turns your
No more
Rosetta
Pistol
Thorn
Dash.
into CNC.
I hate
Yeah.
that it's not CNC.
Yeah.
This is what they put out there on Twitter. Adam and I were talking about that.
I knew it couldn't be CNC.
Yeah,
I just
right?
too good to be true.
Yeah.
It's such a little slap in the face though that it's not. Just they're like, hey, we're gonna tease this. You're all gonna want it to be in CNC, but
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
You can almost see the middle finger coming out of the tail.
You can,
Yeah, yeah.
James White must have been maniacally laughing as he was composing that tweet.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's funny.
but
Spicy Rosetta Thorn deck. Yep.
what's the interaction with that? Sorry.
It's exactly 2 damage, right? So your
so
Rosetta
yeah.
Thorn is exactly 2 arcane,
2 and 2.
physical.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's all dependent upon if they want to block, or I guess if they can or want to block, because they could just say, "Yeah, I don't care. I don't have any cards in my arsenal. I'm just going to take this 2, and you're going to lose your arsenal."
Yeah.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a May either, so you got to have the right setup for
You
it.
have to do it. Yeah.
None of these were Mays. They happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nice. So that was pretty much.
That is right. The Talisman of Featherfoot, right? Yeah. Look
Yeah.
Some of these amulets or items that I'm kind of looking at for the first time today. Not.
Yeah, you'd never look at them otherwise. Yeah.
Wasn't big on them
No.
beforehand.
No. Exactly.
We did it. We got through the
that
set.
That
We
is
got
the
through it in the
cards.
end. It was 2 hours longer than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was.
But
We went through the same thing.
Yeah.
We recorded part 1 of the preview,
Yeah.
and we realized we hadn't even touched it yet. I was like, oh,
It's
shit.
just crazy, isn't it? Especially when you got 6 people on as well. It's just like, it just accentuates it more, doesn't it? But I'm glad everyone was up for it, and I'm glad, obviously, we did it, and it was great to have everybody on. And just one more time as well before we close it off, to just go round the table. Obviously, everybody knows who Flake is. Let's be honest. He's gone now, but everybody knows who he is. So I'll obviously link him in the description box below. But before we go, if we want to do one more round as well, for where people can find everybody. So starting with Russ, where can we find you?
So BrewTapCast, we have a YouTube channel, so youtube.com/BrewTapCast. We used to use Twitch, but that was kind of lame, and now we're just doing YouTube. It's a much easier way to interact with people in the sense of like making videos. So there, and then we're on Twitter at BrewTapCast as well, and then we have a Discord, which there's not a cool link I can say. So just go to somewhere that you can find the Discord link.
Nice, lovely old job. Combat Chain. There's 2 of you in here now.
We are. Yeah, we've got a couple different places you can find us. We are on YouTube, the Combat Chain podcast there. On Twitter, Pat, you're at Pat Smash Good.
Yeah, you can find me at Pat Smash Good on Twitter and Discord. You can find the Combat Chain podcast at the Combat Chain for both YouTube and Twitter. Shameless plug, we are on the race for 100 subscribers of the Combat Chain YouTube channel. We're having a giveaway to support that.
Nice.
We got some cards, we got some sleeves and deck boxes from our own collections to help support this. We do have a Patreon that I'd also like to plug. We're expanding our presence there. Adam, the link escapes me for the Patreon, but you can find us at the Combat Chain.
Yeah, all the links will be in the
well.
description box below. Everything will be there underneath your name. So,
but we are expanding our YouTube presence. You can find us on all streaming platforms. We're up and coming, and we're happy to be part of the community and happy to be here. So thanks 100%. For having us.
Yeah, again, I've interacted with you for a while, Pat, and I know you always said that you wanted to do content, so it's good that you've jumped onto it and started doing it.
This is big. This is big for me. This is big for us. Exactly. I am starting to get into video editing, and holy shit. So I'm not
takes a long time, doesn't it?
There yet.
Yeah.
I took the dive and I got Premiere Pro, just figuring out how to use it, and so I think I'm going to talk with Adam a bit. I do got some cards coming. I think we're going to experiment with some live streams to try to get some gameplay up there as well. And we're happy to engage with other content creators in the community. So anytime you want to collaborate, do anything, we're happy to participate.
Well, that's what these things are all about. Really, is just bringing people together. Because I think collaborations are massively underrated as to what they can do for anyone at any level, really. So yeah, we're all about that. And collaboration. Speaking of which, I've done some with Mr. Fresh Buds there. So where can we find you, Mr. Sir?
Yeah. So it's the Fresh and Buds podcast. So you can just search that on any of the audio platforms. I do have YouTube as well. I think it's Fresh Buds Pod or Fresh and Buds. It'll be in the links. And then I'm on Twitter at Fresh Buds Pod. I have all kinds of people on. Love to get you guys on from the Combat Chain. Love to come on your podcast.
There we go. Right here, right now, right here, right now.
But I've had Az on, I've had Russ on, I had Flake on. And it's a good time. Keep it pretty relaxed. I'm just doing my thing. So
nice.
Yeah, and then I'm doing some YouTube videos now too. Try to supplement.
Fresh 5 in that, yeah.
The Fresh 5.
Yeah, I like that.
Just talking about 5 things. Just random nonsense and
yeah.
But thanks for having me on.
No, it's good fun. Yeah, I appreciate everyone's coming on. And yeah, cheers, Flake, wherever you might be out there in the big wide world, whatever you're doing right now. Thanks very much for coming on. And yeah, hope you're loving life, whatever you're doing. Keep up the good work. And yeah, I'm a massive fan of everyone's content. So yeah, just keep up the good work for everyone. And whoever's watching this, if you are a content creator or you want to get into this, just do it. Just do it. Simple as that, really. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the Everfest review. I'm sure you've heard loads of this by now. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace out.